Welcome, everybody. We are live here this week on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, broadcasting to you on DannyBTalks on YouTube. I'm DannyBTalks, of course. If you notice, I got a football jersey on. I went to my first Tennessee Titans game this weekend. Someone's going to have to mute their broadcast. That's me. Gosh, it's messing with me so bad. I'm such a professional. Gosh, I had it on the background. Anyways, I have on Titans jersey because we have a special football guest, and I went to my first Titans game over the weekend. But we'll get on to our guest here in a little bit. Let's just say hello, everybody. Whoever wants to go next.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
I was just going to say hello, everybody.
yeah. Oh, okay. What's up, everyone? I'm the Iceberg. Had a few pretty good, pretty fun videos this week you should check out. Have another one tomorrow, so check that out. Danny is on a roll tonight, and over to Derek.
Hey, I barely made it home in time for this. So.
In his defense, I was supposed to host tonight until about 3 or 4 hours ago, so he's really stepping in last minute, so I appreciate that.
All right, so I guess I'll go next. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Darren Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter. I know I haven't uploaded in about I would say around a week. I know I haven't uploaded a bus video in a long time, but that'll change tomorrow when I upload one. Well, actually, no. It's supposed to be uploaded on Friday, but I'm going to make it tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm going to be busy doing that. And we definitely have a lot to talk about on the program today, especially myself. Just wrapped up my weekend internship at LVMS and got some funny stories to tell you guys. And, yeah, can't wait.
And I'm Eric, so that's all I have to say. I got nothing out of the ordinary coming to you guys' way. So be on the lookout for Out of the Groove tomorrow. And that's about it. Let's get rolling.
Well, Danny B. Clumsy will take it back over from here now. So I do want to go ahead and introduce our special guest. You all, if you follow us on Twitter, which you should, by the way, because that's required by law. If you follow us on Twitter, you've been seeing us talk about. We have our special guest. He's the starting center for Duke University's football team, Mr. Zach Harmon. Zach, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on.
Now, Zach, you're probably like, oh, well, what's a college football player doing on our broadcast? Well, if you notice behind him, this guy's a big NASCAR fan. He's probably one of the very few college football players who is this big of a NASCAR fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's being in the South. I mean, Duke's not really a good true representation of, I guess, the demographic of NASCAR fans. I'm the only one on the team who remotely follows it. So it gets pretty lonely here sometimes. So I got a little diecast collection and showing off a few of my drivers, and people come in my room ask me what the hell is that, but I don't mind because I know you got guys like you all over the country who follow it. But yeah.
So Zach, how's the team going this year? How's Duke doing?
We're off to a fantastic start. We're 3-0 and beat two Power 5 opponents, Northwestern and Baylor. Also beat Army, and our starting quarterback went down with an injury the second game of the year and had a small surgery to clear that up. And our backup came in last week against Baylor, and he played fantastic. Threw three touchdowns, I think around 200 yards, his first ever start. So that was really good to see. It was a really good true team win. I think this might be the most all-around talented team, and especially depth-wise, that Duke has had in my time here for sure. And we got a game against North Carolina Central. We don't want to overlook those guys, and because we know we got a big game against Virginia Tech the week after that, and hopefully if we beat North Carolina Central, we will most likely be ranked next week, and Virginia Tech's ranked I think 16th right now, and it's going to be a night game at home, so that's going to be a huge game for us. And so really hoping to keep this winning streak going and kind of make some good momentum.
Excellent.
All right, so I just wanted to ask this. So I got to ask this, man. I see the Hamlin thing on your wall in the back. So I'm assuming you're a pretty big Denny Hamlin fan. So just explain just why.
So I grew up a huge Bobby Labonte fan, to be honest. Kind of didn't really I kind of fizzled out in NASCAR my high school years, and I got back into it in my freshman year of college. Really got back into it, and I think Labonte was running maybe the super speedways at that point, and I didn't know really who to root for, and I don't know, something about I really honestly don't know something what about it. His paint scheme's pretty dope, and getting to know him, he's a pretty cool guy, and from Virginia, not too far away, and kind of after rooting for Labonte for the longest time, he never really won in his late time in his career. So I kind of want to cheer for a winner. But I wouldn't necessarily say Hamlin's my guy. I'll root for him. Chase Elliott, I'm really big on him. Ryan Blaney, I really liked his character, personality. I think NASCAR needs more guys like that. So about those three are my guys. I couldn't put my finger on one though.
So if you say you support Chase Elliott and you also support Denny Hamlin, what was your thoughts after Martinsville last year?
I wanted to see. I was pissed. I wanted to see his first win, and but it was a really strange feeling. I couldn't be mad at it. It was my guy won, but at the end of the day, I liked it. I think NASCAR needs more storylines like that. It was a good talking point for a good couple weeks after that. I mean, it's still referenced sometimes today when those two mix it up. So it sure was interesting though.
I really wish that we had already had this podcast going like by that time a year ago, because that would have made for an interesting discussion for sure.
I probably would have been stuck with Dale Jr. derangement syndrome at that point because he was still racing. So I do got to ask, what races have you been to? A bunch of races or any? Which ones? Are there any pretty big ones in there?
So I went to Michigan International Speedway as a kid. I grew up in Ohio, lived in the same place all my life. So that was really the only track I could go to driving wise. Went down here, and I mentioned earlier that I kind of rekindled my obsession with NASCAR my freshman year because I had an older teammate, a senior at the time, take me to Charlotte, and we had hot passes, and just being able to see the cars up close, personal, and meet a couple drivers, see the speed, hear how loud the cars were, and smell the burn, the rubber and the gas, and something about that just hooked me in, and so since then me and that same buddy, we kind of had a spontaneous trip to Kentucky. Had hot passes at Kentucky as well. I took a few buddies down to Bristol last year. Unfortunately, the Cup race was rained out. Like not even halfway. About 100 laps in, but we saw a little bit of the Xfinity race that was delayed a little bit. But it was my teammates' first NASCAR race they've ever seen, and they really kind of had a new respect for it, seeing how fast and how loud and how crazy it was in person in that environment. And also went to Martinsville a couple times. So kind of just like the Southeast region, kind of around by Charlotte, anything close to that is what I've been to. And definitely want to go to Talladega this upcoming next year. And so keep my eyes open for some good deals and different tracks.
Well, if you don't mind me saying this, even though, actually, you'll still be fine by the spring. They actually do a college deal. I think it's like $24 for tickets for Talladega. It's like right off of turn 4 is where you'll see it.
Okay.
It's like a whole big college area, and you'd probably be interested in that.
I'm sure that place is nuts at the college students. I mean, it's nuts. The Talladega Infield's nuts as it is. So you have a bunch of drunk college kids there. I can only imagine.
You were saying you went to Michigan when you were younger. Was there any chance you were there like 06, 07 in those years or so, maybe around that time?
I think it was, I don't think it was that late. I think it's probably 2004, 2005. Remember Ryan Newman won back when he was still relevant.
If you say Ryan Newman won, then that's got to have some age to it. So
yeah, I also went in like 2012.
Which one did you go to? Was it the first with Junior or the second one?
Yeah,
Who won the second one? I think everyone just forgets about the other one.
Greg Biffle won that one.
Oh wow!
Because I couldn't even tell you. I think it must have been. I think it. No, you're right. It was a late June one because I remember it was right before we had our training camp for high school football. I remember that was right on the horizon. So if I had to take a guess, it was that one. Is that the one you went to?
Yeah, I was there. And it was funny because our training
cried like a baby.
Oh yeah, I did. I Junior fan all the way, but my first day of football camp was the next day too, and I got burnt to hell. So like literally the next day I'm there in full pads, freaking sunburned.
Man, I feel bad. I know the feel. I feel bad for you, man.
It was
the first Talladega race that year? Is that when Junior ran out of gas? Or was that when Mark? I can't remember the.
I know the year before he ran out of gas in the 600. He ran out of gas a lot.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
he ran out of gas a lot when I think back on it. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Small world, huh?
Well, if you're able to go to Bristol next year, we're having a huge meetup there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I plan on it. I mean, I got. Hopefully, I'm graduating this December. I'm a 5th-year senior, so kind of graduate a little early this year. And wherever I might be training, I'll finally have weekends off where I can go to different NASCAR races and won't have any football responsibilities. So yeah, that'd be cool to plan on that.
Now, where are you? What are you studying, by the way?
Studying psychology. Don't ask me what I want to do in psychology because I have no idea. But I after football, I'm really big into marketing. Would love to go into marketing and I talk about a lot. I'd love to go within NASCAR or different marketing firms or affiliates of NASCAR and work in those different agencies. Just because it's kind of inspiring here. You got all these college students and people ready to go in the real world and spend money, and not one of them really even know what NASCAR is about or seen a race or a lap of a race. And and every single one of them knows what NBA and NFL, all these other different professional sports. And so that's kind of I'd love to go in marketing with the NASCAR. So the Duke's a liberal arts school, and if you want to go into anything business like be economics, and I am definitely not about taking econ here at Duke. So
Been there, done that.
Yeah, are you an econ guy?
No, but I mean I had to take econ for what I studied at UT.
Okay, yeah, props to you, man.
So I gotta ask you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, my bad, guys. So I gotta ask you about the playoffs and stuff. So we just started the playoffs. The first race at LVMS. Personally, I thought it was a great race, but personally, I just despise the playoffs. I just think we need to go back to a consistent point system. I think the playoffs are too complicated and stuff. And I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
So I think. I'm sure you guys have seen, Real Radman's videos about his take on the playoffs. I mean, it's just a big gimmick. I think Francis wanted to, frame it just like any other professional sports league and have the playoff system. And so you get these average fans or people that really don't understand NASCAR, and they see, oh, it's a playoff system. I know how that works. I might tune into this, but in actuality, that's not how it didn't work. And I think the premise of it is stupid. You got after 3 races, the bottom 4 guys are going to cut off. It doesn't really matter if they get cut off or not. They're kind of mathematically eliminated to win the dang thing anyway. Like the odds for them to even win a race in the playoffs is like ridiculously high. So it's kind of pointless to have 16. And I understand why NASCAR does that. You have 4 more teams. You got to show off their sponsorships, keep the sponsors happy, make more money. But I wouldn't be as mad if they didn't necessarily if they just kept it the chase format. And I honestly do like the playoff points that they have. So not everything's not just squared away to 0 at the start of the playoffs. I mean, the regular season does, I feel like means something a little bit more. And once you get, I guess it's around 8, going to round of 12, round of 8, might get a little more exciting with the cutoffs. And say if a couple guys have run in a couple some trouble at some tracks, and it might mean a little bit more. But I absolutely hate the way they do the Final Four, just one race. If you wreck out, you're screwed. I mean, what happened to Carl Edwards a couple years ago, and that kind of ticks me off a little bit, and it just kind of takes away the professionalism of the sport. I feel like a little bit. You can have. I mean, everyone talks about it. Could almost happen to Ryan Newman. I mean, what if he wouldn't have won it back in 2014?
Mm-hmm. That would have been hilarious.
Exactly. It would have made a joke out of the sport.
I've just got to be honest here. Like right now, after this Las Vegas race, and we'll get into this more later. And I don't want to say, I don't want to get too excited right now, but if they can just keep it together, Alex Bowman, who I thought would be one of the first ones eliminated, is in a position where if they just don't mess up, they could maybe even advance. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if they do, then all of a sudden they've got a chance of Talladega, and if they can somehow pull out whatever they had in 2016, he'd have a chance at Phoenix too. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. It's probably not, but just the way it looks out of nowhere, it could be one of these weird situations.
That's just crazy. Like, it's just still crazy to me. Like, he hasn't done anything all season, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's championship contender and stuff. Like, I don't. It just makes no sense.
I think that's the point of the current playoffs. Is it's like it's meant to give more people a chance, because we look at after this first race, which I know we'll talk about more. Like, you have Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin and others in a kind of a bad hole after wrecks that are incidents that maybe weren't even their fault. And, you can compare that to if they went back to the old, pre-2004 system, they would already be eliminated from championships. That's not really a difference.
All of the playoff points that Harvick had built up, they are now nulled. They don't matter anymore because of that one wreck.
Well, it's more. I mean, I think he's like 40 points ahead of the cut line. I'm the only person on this panel that likes the playoffs, basically how they are. So I try to defend them, but I've always said this. I respect and would be perfectly fine if they switched it back to the old classic, no playoffs. I always said the best playoff system was probably from around, I don't know, if they could take like what they had around 2005, 2006, where they let 10 people in and they just kind of utilize playoff points the way they do today, I think it would be perfect. But I think I like what you said though, Zach, about how that is kind of how the reason they implemented the playoffs in the first place was to kind of reach the not hardcore race fan. They were really desperate to try to reach the casual fan, and that hasn't really worked. It hasn't really done a lot for them. So it ends up looking like a failure. But I think, as far as the reason, and this is important to talk about because I think with a lot of the potential rule changes going forward, it feels like NASCAR is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to reach the casual non-race fan. And you'd think that maybe after the playoffs were received so, they were so polarizing when they were announced, and everything, you'd think that they'd maybe rethink some of their upcoming decisions, but they're not, or we're not sure if they are. So I think that's why it's interesting that NASCAR hasn't learned from their mistakes, but can we even call them mistakes? Because maybe they don't think of them as such. I don't know.
I got to ask, are you more of a old school fan or new school fan, or does it sort of vary by position?
In terms of what?
Like championship format or like the stages, stuff like that.
So, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like an old school fan. I mean, kind of how Eric talked about, like if they kept the chase format, like 2000, like you said, 2005, 2006, and just went away, like, in my opinion, went away with the playoffs and just kept the playoff points as it was, give them a little head start at the beginning of the playoffs and let it play out, 12 races from there. That'd be cool. But I'm not necessarily one of those guys that also say like, put them back in stock cars and put them, just make, I think there's too much money involved in the sport now. I think there's too much reliance on, sponsorships that they can't make these decisions for like that the actual fans would want, because what we want necessarily doesn't make them as much money as they could. And right now that the situation that NASCAR's in, it is literally just to appease the sponsors and put as many eyes on them as possible and the time being. So in that sense, like I understand, I'm not going to get annoyed with a lot of the stuff, what they're doing. But one thing I will say, I'm kind of old school about is just how aero sensitive these cars are. And not to the sense where I want to go back to 30, 40 years ago, but just and again, like I said, Real Radman really kind of educated me on this. And but just how they were the old Gen 6 or 5 or whatever, and like in the early 2000s.
Gen 4.
Yeah. Like where the mechanical grit meant a little more. And I just think a lot of these teams who can't afford the time and the wind tunnels and with R&D, I mean, it just really kind of puts a disadvantage the way these cars are set up now. And I think a big reason for that is, safety and one, to protect the drivers, and two, NASCAR doesn't want to lose any sponsorships because the driver gets seriously injured driving a car with their sponsor labeled on. I think that's a huge influencer for it. And the product, the racing, kind of took a backseat to that. So in that sense, I'd say I made a little old school.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you basically like perfectly summed up 2007 to 2013 with the changing of the car tomorrow and now to the Gen 6. You're right.
Yeah.
They prioritized safety and keeping the sponsors, or they were very conservative in how they we just want to make sure the sponsors that we have now stay happy. And they didn't, you're right. I think the product took a back seat. You're kind of saying, I think what all of us agree, the aero on the cars, the cars today need to change. So I think most of us up here basically agree with that. Cars need to change going forward and try to get back to a, mid 2000s, early 2000s type racing.
Speaking of changes with the package, I got to ask you guys what your guys' thoughts on the. I don't know if you see any the articles or the proposed package for some of the 2019 races. I think it's like that tapered spacer. And what do you guys think about that?
Some tracks it might work, some tracks it might not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I don't know my opinion on it yet. I've heard reports that it could be like a what's the word, temporary measure, because I've heard also that they're looking at bringing a completely new type of car in 2 or 3 years. So this could just be a temporary thing. I mean, the longtime race fan in me doesn't like that they're trying to turn every medium-sized track into Daytona, and I don't think that's necessarily what we all want to see. But at the same time, and I'm not going to say this personally, but I'm going to say what I've seen other fans say, is that the All-Star race this year, where they first kind of ran something like this, a lot of people enjoyed that race. The majority of people thought that was a fun race. They ran it at, Indianapolis this last week for Xfinity Series. They ran something like that. And I didn't get to see the race, but from everything I saw, some people told me it was the best Xfinity race they'd seen all year. So I think I can't form a great opinion on it. If it's a temporary measure, then sure. But I don't really want it to be the norm going forward. I'd rather them get back to, racing off throttle time and not having to rely on restrictor plates. That would be perfect. But
see, here's the thing with that.
Fans seem like they may be in favor of it.
I would like it for a few tracks. Not every track, but a few, because then that rewards two different styles of drivers at that point. You have drivers who will adapt to this style better, like a Daniel Suarez. He ran really good in the All-Star race. AJ Allmendinger, he ran really good in the All-Star race. And then we go to the regular for a few races. That rewards drivers on that platform. It just I'm sure maybe you give it a few years, we might be back in the same situation when just the same people learn both styles better. But it could produce something entirely unique for NASCAR. We could see guys who would be frets at some places and then guys who would be frets at other places, just depending on the package they're going to run.
Yeah, all indication, from what I've heard from other drivers and stuff, and I actually talked to a few people about this, a few media people at the media center last weekend at LVMS, and apparently it's just supposed to be temporary. I'm at least glad that they're just at least trying something. If the All-Star race and if the truck race we just had, which used something similar, is any indication, I can live with it at some tracks. And apparently Las Vegas in 2019 in the March race is going to be the first race with that package. So, honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing how that'll work. But hopefully they get this new car out as soon as possible.
Now, I read something here in the chat here. Someone said that they wish that, they get rid of splitters. I do too. I think that they would do better if they went to a valence instead of a splitter.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the boat of it's just a temporary fix for a bigger problem. We've had this problem with the aero package and not being able to really get consistently good racing now for really since they got the COT. So 11, 12 years now. I just think it's avoiding the problem and trying to just sort of make a gimmick out of it. I don't know. I was not a fan. Actually, when we started talking about it and we got more in depth, the more and more in depth we got to talking about it, the more and more I started laughing at what a joke it was.
Yeah, I was able to go to that race with a few buddies who was their first race as well for the All-Star race. And I was very skeptical about it. I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it took away the legitimacy of a lot of the racing. But man, I will tell you, that is some of the most exciting racing I've ever seen in person. Seeing a pack of cars, just 2 wide, 3 wide, going through a mile and a half. My buddies who didn't really like NASCAR, I had to beg them to go, were standing on their feet. And if NASCAR can get this product out to just, I guess, your average fans, like what they're really trying to do with this playoff system, I honestly think that could work because that was exciting racing. You didn't really need to be that invested in racing to know what was going on. You saw cars going 170 miles per hour, inches away from each other, and if someone mentioned like if it's a quick fix, fine, and I agree with that. Like if this is a quick fix until whenever they introduce this new package or the new aero package, the permanent one. Sure, get some more fans on board. It'll be, it's good to keep the interest in because getting people away from leaving the sport, fine with that. But man, I have to admit that was some really exciting racing in person.
It was really fun to watch too on TV. We sort of, I think all four of us came to the consensus after that of like, if it can be like a once a year thing at the All-Star race, or maybe just like do it at really boring tracks like Indianapolis where it might work better, then go for it. I guess we're just not on board with having, including the 4 we already have, having basically 20 restrictor plate races a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
The
initial proposal named, I want to say it named like 16 races or something like that, a very high number, which I was like, that's a lot. If we can lower it to, the 4 current restrictor plate races plus maybe 4 others, I'd be okay with it. But yeah, because I also don't want to oversaturate, the schedule with. Is it bad to say I don't want too many exciting races on the schedule? Because if you have too many exciting races, it's gonna be hard to keep moving up from that. It's nice that you have 4 or 5 great races a year, but if we started like, I don't know, it'd be nowhere to go but down after that.
Yeah.
There are some tracks that I definitely don't think would be ideal, like Michigan and Auto Club. No, I couldn't see the setup for that. But
Vegas
Could work.
Maybe Vegas because it's got similar, to Charlotte.
That's-
Charlotte, we know it can work.
That truck race was exciting in person. This is some of the best racing.
Of course, after this week's Cup race at Vegas, do we really need plates at it, at least for the September date?
I think this week's Vegas race was just made exciting just because of. I think the heat probably had a lot to do with it.
It did.
Because it made those cars handle so bad, and it ultimately caused a lot of crashes.
Well, and that's the thing I noticed at Chicago, because when I was there, it was like, at the highest it got was like 102 with a heat index of 110. And the racing all weekend was amazing. The hotter it got, the better the racing got. So maybe, I know it's not good for the fans at the track, but at the same time, maybe NASCAR should try and consider the get tracks in when it's hotter. Like if you could get Talladega when it's a little warmer and it can be more slick for the cars, I think it'd be even better than what we got now. I think a lot of it we can fix with like one, the cars, but 2 is like scheduling is a huge thing we can definitely fix a lot of the racing with.
They used to run it in the summer.
They used to run it
like
the week
July.
before. Yeah, they used to run it in the first week of August, right before Watkins Glen. And then when people like basically started dropping off and dying, it was like, yeah, we got to. It's like because they had Phoenix at one point, like at the end of May, and like that's just not going to work.
Hey, Jarrett, real fast, I have to ask it.
Yeah.
I see something there in the background, the Daytona 500 car. Is it sitting there because your other car may be in the mail to somebody?
No, that's right here.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna do a thing each week where I just sort of switch. But I probably should do that already.
I had my hopes up that you would send him to get signed by him.
I will. He said he had fun last week and seems to be a pretty big fan of the show. So, Zach, if you didn't see, we had Bill Lester on last week. Mm-hmm. So that dude is awesome. He will not shy away from telling you what he thinks.
That's awesome.
He's so cool. But yeah, I'm just gonna switch it out each week. I finally managed to get the stands out of all my die casts that were in the boxes, so I can actually sit them normal. Except for my my Elvis car, this one's impossible to get out. I've been trying for 10 years and it doesn't work.
What do you mean? It looked like it was fine.
The stands at the bottom?
Yeah, the stands. Yeah, those.
Even freaking screwdrivers don't work to get the damn thing off. So,
have you tried a quarter?
Mm-hmm. I've tried everything, man. At this point, I'm thinking about just getting a sledgehammer. I tried delicate. Now it's just time to just bash the damn thing off.
So let's get on subject to another thing that I wanted to kind of discuss. So we talked about Vegas a little bit. Let's talk about another event that happened at Vegas. The K&N dirt race happened.
Oh yeah,
Darian,
Oh,
I know
man.
that I know y'all Vegas people don't dirt race a whole lot, and I'm used to Tennessee red clay being easier for dirt racing. But what was up with just the dust show?
Okay, let me explain. Let me explain this to you guys because a lot of people were just immediately calling it well, I'm not going to cuss on there. We're just calling it a you know what show. So I'm not going to cuss on here this time, Danny. I don't want you to get demonetized. So
Okay.
But yeah, so basically that track LVMS only uses about twice a year typically for these two like special like dirt racing open wheel events. I think it's like the Duel in the Desert, something like that. I believe that's what it's called. And because it's in the desert, they don't just use like 100% of the track. Like it's not just dirt, it's some sort of clay. It's like a mixture of both. And they do wet it every day, but because like the soil, it's different because it is in a desert. And like, you know, they didn't wet it enough before the race. So when the race basically started, it was basically kind of like that whole 1956 Tulsa, Oklahoma race I told you I made a video about. Like no one could see anything. And there was like even a huge giant tire in the middle of the racetrack on like lap one. And we're like, oh, is anyone going to throw the caution? And everyone started stopping and started running into each other. And then they're like, nope, we got to wet the track again. And then they delayed it.
Trust me, I have seen worse. It was back in November of last year. I went to an indoor demolition derby, and their way of ventilation for this venue was like a few giant fans. Like I'm talking like it looked like a ceiling fan. It was like each blade might have been like 10 to 20 feet long, but it couldn't do nothing for this venue. There was smoke everywhere from all the cars being destroyed inside of it. You couldn't see nothing. You couldn't breathe. Yeah, we did not stay long. And when you left, your clothes smelled horrible. I've seen worse.
And since we're talking about the whole dirt race, can I tell everyone the story I told you guys about a certain someone saying something about a certain other driver?
Go for it.
All right, so first off, congratulations to Sheldon Creed. He won the race and stuff. He's the ARCA Series points leader. He's having a dominant season there. And Haley Deacon ended up finishing second, so that was good for her. So then after the race, I'm looking for my boss, Neil Reed, and stuff because I was like thinking to myself, aren't we supposed to go down there and like get the winner up to do press box, like, you know, to do like, you know, media questions and all that stuff? And then I turn around, I see him. He's already walking down the steps and he's heading towards like Deegan's car. And I was like, oh, like I get to see her in person. Like, yeah, like, you know, I ran back all the way down there and stuff, tried to get there as fast as I could. And then like, there she is doing stuff for her YouTube and all that. And then Neil's like, oh, we're going to go take her up to the press box to do questions and stuff. And it's like, oh, we get to take Haley Deegan up to the press box. Like it was awesome. So yeah, I was, we took her up there and stuff. And I just introduced myself and stuff and, you know, just told her good race and all that stuff. And she was like really tired too. And like, just dirt racing was like really hard and stuff. You could tell she was really worn out. And so she's in the press box. She answers some questions and stuff. And then Neil comes to me and is like, yeah, can you do me a favor? Can you take her back to her car and stuff? I was like, holy shit, like, this is awesome. Like, I don't know why, but like, I mean, I see her on TV all the time racing and stuff. And I don't know, I just get to take her back to her car and stuff too. And I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. And
we're home by 10.
Stop. Cut it out. Oh, that reminds me of the other story. We'll get to that in a little bit. Autograph session. We'll get to that in a little bit. So I'm walking her back to the car. Taking her back to the racetrack. And I was just like, said, hey, I'm a huge fan and all that. And yada, yada. And she said, thank you. So I just asked her straight up. I asked her, what are your thoughts on Natalie Decker? For those of you who don't know, like Natalie Decker, I've done videos on and stuff, and she's currently racing in ARCA. So there's that.
Over there.
So
I said, compose yourself over there, Jarrett.
I'm composed enough.
So I asked her what her thoughts on Natalie Decker were. Now, granted, I just meant driving abilities. I didn't say personality, anything like that. So then she starts talking. She's like, oh, we're two different people, yada, 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 and all that stuff. And I was about to interrupt and just say, oh, I just meant driving abilities. And then the next thing she says was, I don't know, she seems pretty odd. Like, she seems pretty odd. She's basically called like Natalie Decker just weird, odd, like, you know, stuff like that. And I was like laughing. I was like, what? Like, really? Like, she's like, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I've never really talked to her and stuff, but she's like really odd to me. So, so I didn't expect that. So there was that. And then I asked her, I asked her if she thought that Decker was going to make it up to the big league someday and stuff. And she said, well, she basically answered, but she didn't really answer. She's like, yeah, if the results show. So I guess we can also speculate. Maybe even she knows, like, no, she's not going to make it there anytime soon. Something like that. Maybe she said that, wanted to say that, but she didn't want to.
You know what? I personally, this is just me, because it's something we've never got a chance to see. I don't know if we ever really will get to see it. But, you know, we've seen like male drivers feud with each other. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing someone like Decker and Deegan together to see like two female drivers feuding together.
Yeah, I'm tired of all this, like, oh, we support each other all the time. I want them to like at each other's throats, you know?
Exactly. And I kind of have a theory why she told me that, because if you guys don't know, she does YouTube. Her and her family have a YouTube channel with like 138,000 subscribers, and mine only has 5K.
Dang, I wish I had those numbers.
Yeah, I know. Mine only has 5K, so she probably didn't even know who I was. I have to be honest, like, if I was like a media guy or something like that, or if she knew like about my channel or anything like that, I'm not really sure she would say those same things she told me about Decker, you know, that she would, let's say, if I was like a media person asking questions. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my take on it, but that's just a theory I have.
Probably not. She probably just thought, you know, another intern taking me to my car, getting in my personal space,
I mean,
asking me questions.
I ain't getting no personal space. Not like that. Not like that old dude, which we'll get.
Oh God, yeah.
Can someone explain to me? I saw the video clip on Twitter. Like, what the heck is going on?
Right. I guess we just need to talk about it.
I was there. Okay, I was there. So I was working the other side of the whole autograph sessions, making sure everyone was staying in line, nobody was cutting, and like making sure the drivers needed like waters and all that stuff, and making sure they were signing stuff. So, so apparently, this old dude, which I did see, I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who that is. I know exactly who he looks like because I saw him. And apparently, he asked 17-year-old, by the way, 17-year-old Natalie, or no, not Natalie Decker, Haley Deegan.
Oh my God!
To give him a tramp stamp on his lower
back. God! Was she about it?
Apparently so. She signed it.
It just looks so uncomfortable, man.
Look in the background. Look in the background of the video, and you see two of the guys are like.
Dylan, yeah. Dylan Kraus, and I can't remember who else the other guy was, but Dylan Kraus looks cringy. Like, he's cringe. His face is just full of cringe, man.
Oh, it was. And then I saw that MDK, he put up a video on Twitter. It was like, boys, we got him.
Yeah. He did that whole meme.
The FBI breaking in.
The FBI rushing through the door. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that was great. But yeah, and it's like everyone started freaking out, and then Darian sent me something on DMs. He's like, "Come look at this! Everyone's freaking out." And I like went and looked. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a justified freak out!" Like,
yeah, everyone was completely freaking out about it. I didn't find out until after the race was done, when one of my coworkers was like, "Yeah, did you see what happened?" Like,
that wasn't you, was it?
Yeah, okay. And she told me no. And then like. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what? And I saw the video and I was like, like no way.
Yeah, that's just cringy. I don't know. That's just a weird situation.
Gosh. I mean, she could have said no, but at the same time, it's still creepy. But I mean, maybe she just wanted to be nice. I don't know.
I mean, you could tell she was like, "This is weird" in the video. She was but she's kind of like, I mean,
yeah.
all you gotta do is just do your little thing and you're done, you know. And I think that's kind of what she was like.
I mean, how does her dad? How's Brian feel about
He was there. He was there. He was right there.
Wait,
He was right there. Yeah, Deegan's mom and dad were right there. They were literally standing right in front of her when it happened. They were standing there the whole time.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why'd this happen? Like, you guys were right there.
Oh my god. That's the part, because like when Twitter was talking about it and stuff, they were getting into these arguments and all this stuff. I didn't realize that her parents were just standing right there.
They were.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, man.
Should wake up with pink eye.
Well, based on what I could see, I don't know. Based on that guy, Mayo, he looked, I was like, he ain't getting much.
Did he ask, or did he just present his butt? I honestly don't know what.
Apparently,
okay. Now I've just got the visual image of this guy walking up, dropping his door. Like, you know what to do it.
Apparently, like, he asked and everything, and she complied.
Dude,
that guy.
It was almost as I'd say it's definitely more weird. I was at Chicagoland one year in the infield, and I want to say it was Kyle Busch, or might have been Logano, somebody signed a woman's chest, and it was like it immediately reminded me of that. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever, yeah. See, I'm sorry, since he's not looking, all she should have done is like just put like, do not tattoo.
I mean, what is the point of that? You are going to shower and that's going to come right off.
I know.
Unless you got a tattoo,
bro. If you got it, no way.
I literally saw a dude get signed right here at Denny Hamlin's autograph. He came back the next day with a tattoo.
So
imagine telling that story.
The tattoo artist like go over it.
We need to follow up with this man to see if he got the tattoo. I mean, obviously, I don't know if he's going to show his face. We just need to
get him on the podcast.
Confirmation. Get him on the podcast to defend himself.
Just imagine.
I'll let him wear my Jeff Gordon helmet. That way he can hide his identity.
No, really quick. Just imagine the story telling the fellas or something like that, or his friends. Oh, like, where'd you get that tattoo? Oh, the 17-year-old female driver gave me a tramp stamp.
No, even better. Like, he's like,
911.
He's like telling his boys, like, I just got this broad to sign my butt. Like, they're like, who signed this? Oh yeah, bro, homie, she's 17, my guy.
No. Oh,
damn.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was
Well, and I remember, I think I put in one of our group chats, I'm like, can we just get through one weekend without some stupid controversy coming up?
Yeah, something. Like no, but it's NASCAR.
It's how shows like this survive.
It's like, ever since the drunken chief was arrested after Watkins Glen, we've had something every week when we have good racing. Just something pops up every week. I'm like, can we just have one normal week? Just one.
I think it all started when we added Eric onto our stream, and it got popular. And NASCAR realized that, so it's like, hey, let's give him plenty of content. Let's go, guys. Give him all the memes. Come on.
So does anyone want to hear the whole Myatt Snyder story now?
I don't know this one.
I want to know more on that, because I like Myatt. I hope he does good.
I'm not
okay. So I'm sorry.
Who is this?
He's a truck series driver. He's a young kid, like about our age. So
he's the son of somebody, isn't he?
Is he the son of Marty Snyder?
Yes, I was just about to say that. I didn't know that. So
I didn't either. That's nice to confirm.
So I'm working I'm working the truck race and stuff now. We're basically getting everything ready and stuff. And I see Marty Snyder just pacing like up and down like the whole media section. I was like, what is he doing here and stuff? Like, I know he's pit reporting and stuff, but like, why is he watching the truck race and stuff? And apparently that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, that's his son. So, and I ended up talking to him later that night. Thankfully, I didn't say anything bad, because Myatt Snyder, I've said some pretty controversial things about. Like, so thankfully, I that clicked in my head, because I probably would have said some smart remark. So thankfully that clicked. All right, so I'm in the elevator going back to the media center, And what do you know? Marty Schneider was right there. And there was this old guy, and they were talking, and the old dude was saying, like, I think he was with like South Point or with some truck team or something like that. I don't know. But he was talking to Marty Schneider, like, oh, like, how's your son doing? And then Marty Schneider was like, oh, you know, it's pretty good. They got the truck dialed in during practice, and he seemed pretty decent in qualifying. So we'll see what happens. And then they go their separate ways and stuff. He gets off the elevator, and I'm still going down. And the old dude, as soon as he walks out, no lie, the old dude turns to me, and he's like, his son's only here because he has money.
Damn.
It's like, his son's only here because he's rich. I'm like, no one, like, so just the talking, like, mess, just like, you know, the whole shit talking and stuff. It's real in NASCAR. Like, they don't hold back. Apparently, they're like straight up. They're like, yeah,
I think at this point that argument means nothing, because if we basically assume that if you are blessed to be at that level, then there at some point in your life there was obviously a good financial blessing in order to let you compete in a sport like this.
Does Marty Schneider have that much money?
I mean, he's been working at NBC for years.
He's working, but he's not like, I mean, he's on air, but he's not like Chris Myers for Fox.
I'm paying them big bucks to Marty Schneider, boys.
I don't know. I think if they're paying Marty Schneider that much money, I mean, come hire one of us. We'll be like the Eric Jones to his Matt Kenseth.
Yeah,
or just hire us because we probably make good content for them.
Yeah, Matt spending that much money on Marty Schneider. No offense, Marty, if you're watching. I actually talked.
Just pay me enough to keep up this apartment. I'll be fine.
I actually talked to him for a little bit too. I was like, hey, you know, big fan. Like you, Alan Bestwick, Benny Parsons, like Wally Dallenbach. Like you guys were my childhood growing up. Just, you know, watching you guys cover like all the races and stuff. And I was like, yeah, so it's really cool. So I just said hi to him and stuff, and you know, got back to work and stuff. Well, I don't know if I call it work because I was just really happy to be there. It was just really fun the whole weekend. So, but yeah, that truck race, man, it was pretty cool. I mean, it was I didn't know they were running that package there and stuff. So it was interesting. And I also got to meet Noah Gregson and Riley Herbst in person too. They both went to Gorman, and if you're from Vegas, you know, everyone hates Bishop Gorman because and like, because they always win all the time and stuff. And I was like asking them, I was like, oh yeah, did you guys go to Gorman? And they were like, yeah. Like where'd you go? Legacy. And they were like, ooh.
Darian,
I was like,
Darian, how was meeting Riley Herbst in person? Because you have said some kind of controversial stuff about him before.
Well, luckily he doesn't know that. So, but I mean, he's a nice guy and stuff, you know. I mean, the stuff I've said about his performance on the racetrack, it's like nothing personal. I mean, it's just me questioning results. And he's a really short guy, and so is Noah Gregson. Both these dudes, they're midgets. I was like, whoa! Like I thought I was short, but you guys, geez, you're like 5'6" or something.
That's why I gave up. That's why I gave up racing. Gave up the dream to be a race car driver. I realized I was too big, too double cheeked up to even fit in a car.
I'm 6'7". Has there ever been a driver taller than like 6'4"?
6'7".
Michael Walker.
Yeah, what was Mikey? He was
Michael
like
Walker's like 6'4".
I am really gonna hate, like, real quick. We know Eric's 6'7". How tall are Jarrett and Darian?
I'm 6 foot.
Same here, 6 foot.
I am going to hate Bristol so much. I am 5'9". I'm gonna be like, hi guys.
Oh my god. Darian, I saw you on a video, not during the Cup race, but after the Xfinity race. With
you did?
Ross, when they were streaming Ross Chastain breaking the melon.
That's right. Yeah, I was there too. Like, I actually talked. That's when I talked with Bob Pockris and Jeff Gluck for a little bit. Jeff Gluck was asking pretty much like, where's Ross Chastain at? Like him and what's his name from NBC, Nate Ryan. They were standing there, and I went up to him and I was like, yeah, Ross Chastain's busy doing radio really quick. He'll be out. And as soon as I said that, 5 minutes later, he's out. And he has the watermelon in his hand. And to give people context, his family, they're like watermelon farmers. So after getting his first win, he went to the middle of the race of the start-finish line and smashed the watermelon and stuff. So it was pretty cool to see in person and stuff. So Jeff Gluck was live streaming that as well. And Was that the live stream you were talking about, Jarrett, that you saw me on? Yeah.
Yep.
So and if you guys if you don't remember or you probably didn't see me, I was the guy who said I'm not cleaning that up, and some people laughed. Like I was like I'm not cleaning that.
Yeah,
up.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
Well, I was thinking of something else. We saw you for a split second behind Kevin Harvick when he was so angry.
Dude, he was pissed. Like he was like so mad. He was like being so unprofessional. Like okay, so we went to the
that's just Harvick in general.
So we went to the media center, to the infield care center after they wrecked. And I was like, yes, we get to go. So we hop on the golf cart, we go, and I see Eric Jones and Harvick just walking by. Eric Jones is cool. He does his interviews, and he's mad, but he just leaves. And then Harvick he just like really, you're supposed to do it like you do like TV first, or I believe you do TV and then it's a radio and all that. But Harvick just is like, screw that. He's just like all over the place and stuff. He's just really mad. And I see him doing the TV interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, the camera's at a perfect angle where I can like kind of bomb it a little bit. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I have to have a reason to walk over there though. So I see my boss, Neil Reed, he's getting in the golf cart. So I was like, oh, I mean, I could have walked the other way and not been on camera, but I just went the extremely far away and just trolled and just got on TV. I was just like walking past. I was just like walking fast and stuff. And yeah, so you saw me.
You did it just for the cameo.
Pretty much.
You helped Carnation get views. Good job.
It's like you should have just casually walk by and like cough like subscribe to Black Lives Matter.
Bro, they would have fired me. They would have fired me in a heartbeat. They wouldn't have let me. They would have ripped away my credentials and stuff. And I mean, just the whole weekend was just one big dream. It felt like I've been going there since 2004. And it was awesome. And oh yeah, and this last story. Sorry about this. This one media lady. She works for PRN. We were taking her back after the whole interview. She was going on and on about, Harvick's unprofessional. He's just always such a jerk and stuff. And then Bob Hawkers is walking there, and there's an open seat, and she has to give, and the PRN lady has to give Bob Hawkers like some stat sheet or something like that, and he has headphones in his ears and stuff, and he's just walking, looking at his phone, walking really fast, and then she was like yelling his name, Bob, like 3 times, and he finally gets it, and he just walks away. He doesn't even like get on the cart or anything like that. And we get inside, and then she's like, he's a bleeping nut, man. Bob Hawkers is a bleeping nut. Like, he's crazy.
Is that the one lady who did a lot for the NASCAR Heat 3 like official release, or is that someone else?
I can't. She was some old short lady. That's all I know.
Yeah, I think that might be who I'm thinking of. Like, she has a pretty like distinct voice that you hear her a lot.
Yeah, and she's been on PRN for a while. I can't remember her name, but
is it Claire B. Lang?
Yeah. I think I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Claire B. Lang was like, Bob Hawkers is a effing nut. Like,
she is one of those people that you wouldn't know what she looks like, but you would recognize her voice instantly.
Right. So yeah, I guess in conclusion, just the whole weekend was one big dream, and NASCAR weekend may be over, but my internship isn't over yet. I'm going to be at the Bull Ring this Saturday, and I'm going to be helping out with them throughout the season. And also NHRA is coming to Las Vegas next month, so I've never been to one, so that would be fun to go to. And I also have something I'm working on. Should I tell them right now, Jarrett, or
no?
Like something I'm currently working on. Okay,
wait till it's confirmed.
I'll wait till it's confirmed. All I'm gonna say is that it's history making stuff. It's history making stuff in the NASCAR YouTube community. No other YouTuber has ever done this. So sorry, I can't tell you guys.
That's enough. They're probably all gonna be like, tell us.
Yep, they already are. Sorry, guys.
Well, there they are. Speaking of your dream weekend in Vegas, why don't we at least talk about the Cup race? Start doing that a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, hour into the show almost. Good time to talk about the race we just watched.
Hey, real quick, I just want to ask, Zach, are we keeping you from anything? You're welcome to stay on as long as you would like.
No, as long as you guys want to have me. I have nothing to do tonight.
Because I know you probably got homework and stuff. I don't want to be keeping you from that or anything.
No, I'm fine.
Sweet.
All right.
Oh, let's jump into it. Oh, and everyone, click the like button while we're at it, while we're transitioning over.
What are we at? We have 132 people watching. Only 48 likes. That is terrible, and you guys know it.
Yeah,
Let's
make
get
that
ratio
ratio
up.
But all right, what do we think of the Cup race this weekend? What would we, I guess, give it before we go in depth about it?
The best Cup race I've ever seen at LVMS. A lot had to do with it though. It was extremely hot. It was extremely hot out there all weekend. So I'm assuming just the driving those cars was absolutely miserable because NBC showed it was 145 degrees inside the car, and it was just a hot weekend. I guess on a side note, because of the heat, like a lot of people were in like the whole in the care center and stuff, but it's kind of their fault because it's 100 degrees outside and you decide to drink soda and beer all day. So I didn't even feel bad. I was like, that's on you guys. But anyways, the race was I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
We had a lot happened in this race. I've never seen a race like that at LVMS before. Like, how many playoff drivers ran into some kind of problem? Like 9, I believe.
No, I think they said it was.
Like I said, there was not many of them who didn't have something going. There was one stretch where everyone was just having tires go down out of nowhere. Like Bowman had been fine the whole day until he had a tire go down, I think.
Yeah, and speaking of Bowman, this race is full of surprises. I mean, Alex Bowman's battling for the lead in stage 1. Like, what? And Johnson is finally back to his old form. He's running 5th, and before his tire issues and stuff. And then you had Harvick and Jones went down. Chase Elliott went down. Kurt Busch went down. Kyle Larson went down for a little bit. Blaney went down, but he came back as well. It's just
Kyle Busch. I don't know how he didn't do worse.
Kyle Busch. So yeah,
he'll finish 9th, I think.
Yeah, Kyle Busch went down, and Hamlin. I still hate that thing. What do they call it? The splitter. I hate that so much. As soon as you hit the grass, your day's just done. It's ridiculous.
You see, they're putting turf there now.
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, Charlotte. I thought it was Las Vegas. Never mind.
No,
I think they might in the future, but someone made an amazing comment, and it's ripping on the sport a little bit, but I found it pretty funny. The first comment I saw when someone put that like on Reddit was like, "Oh, well, everything else in the sport's artificial. Why not the grass?" I was like,
better yet, let's just make it entirely concrete and just spray paint it green. There we go.
Right. Yeah, but I guess to end my whole opinions on the race and stuff, 9 out of 10. Brad Keselowski, 3 in a row, and also this is proof he didn't win, but this is proof that Larson and his team, they're in championship form. When you come back from a blown tire, a lap down, to come back and battle for the lead, and you end up finishing 2nd, that's championship form right there. So don't be surprised if he takes the title.
I think a 9 out of 10 is a little extreme. I think. I'm the kind of person who I'm one of the few people that we have on the show that's okay with some wrecks here and there, but this week was a little too much for my for my tastes.
Hey there, we got a super chat. Thank you so much for the $2 there.
Of course. But I would give it a 7 out of 10 because while there were a lot of wrecks getting to the point where it was almost frustrating, it felt like Indianapolis 2017 with all the wrecks at the end of the race. It got frustrating because the problem is it felt like a lot of the wrecks and the incidents were unavoidable. Like I felt bad for Eric Jones and Chase Elliott, obviously, but I also felt bad for Jimmy Johnson, who had a good car and then just got caught up in a big mess. And same with Bowman, kind of had the same deal. If I don't like it when wrecks are kind of out of people's control too much, which is part of what I don't always like about Daytona and Talladega, but at least at Daytona and Talladega, you expect it. Las Vegas, you don't expect that. So this was kind of maybe I'm only going to give it a 7 because it was unexpected. That being said, it was extremely entertaining. I was like falling out of my chair every time they'd restart. It was getting absurd. It's giving us a lot to talk about. So I like that aspect of it. And as far as you said, best race at Las Vegas you've seen, that might be true.
Cup race. Best cup race. The truck race. That was the best race I've ever seen out of all the series.
Yeah, best cup race at Las Vegas is, I probably don't have them all memorized like you do, but I could see that. But yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 personally, but it was very entertaining.
I think this might be the first time for this. I'm actually more positive about a race than Eric is. I'm giving it a 7.5. Like the too much crashing. Like again, I like a few crashes, but too much when it gets excessive sort of takes it away. And then with the red flag and stuff. But It was really entertaining, and I think that's just because of the hot, slick racetrack. You got to see a little more side by side. I just find it really cool though that in this year we probably have the best Vegas Cup race ever and the best Chicagoland Cup race ever. And it's like if you had told any of us in the first 16 weeks, oh yeah, the 2.5-mile tracks that were in the chase and start the chase are going to be some of the best races of the year, I'm pretty sure we'd all laugh in their face.
Okay.
So I gotta say it just shows how good it's gotten this half of the year. NBC is really lucky this year.
And shoot, Bristol, I think we might have been maybe one of the top 5 Bristol races of the 2000s.
Yeah, I'd put that as the best race of the year. Which
Top
one?
5.
I don't know.
Top 5 Bristol races of all time? Would anyone say that?
The
Not
night
quite
race?
that high, but definitely of the 2000s.
Night race, maybe. But what'd you think, Zach?
I liked it. I thought the grip they put down held up really well throughout the race. I was really glad Kyle Busch kind of wrecked out early. And Martin Truex Jr. wasn't really that strong. It kind of put some guys up towards the front that you didn't really get to normally see. And I thought it was cool with Chase Elliott being so dominant throughout most of the race, and same thing with Ryan Blaney, and especially with Elliott. It's kind of he had the Watkins Glen win a few weeks earlier, but it was kind of his really kind of coming around and getting some steam under his belt. And but I think it was cool. I was glad Kurt Busch won, add some more variance throughout the field, and but it was good. It was interesting. I thought the environment was good. I mean, I don't think it was as packed as I expected. It was a beautiful night and great weather, and I was just kind of disappointed to see it wasn't that many people filling the stands, but kind of to expect with NASCAR is kind of egg salad, attendance problem. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
At least Danny B was there.
I can tell you right now that LVMS track president Chris Powell, he's actually in talks with NBC and NASCAR to try and move the start time of the race for next year to like around nighttime, something like that. Because I think that also had a big influence in how many people attended the Vegas race. I think it was around like 45, 50,000, something like that attended. The weather had it. I mean, the weather had a bit of an impact in that.
I think that the problem with moving it, if you're going to keep it on a Sunday to the nighttime, is you got to go against both.
No, Saturday. It would be moved to Saturday.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because I was about to say you go against Sunday Night Football, you get night.
No, you're done. You're done.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I think that's beat Sunday Night Football in the past 20 years has been The Walking Dead, and now that can't even do it anymore. Oh, I was impressed. I had to rewatch the first half of the race later because I was too busy watching my Vikings continue the kicking curse. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely the second half. I was invested the entirety of the second half of the race. I went back and watched the first half, and I'm like, well, it's not as good, but it ramped up as it went, which I thought that it reminded me of Chicagoland, and maybe that's just because I was there, but just the way it just kept ramping up throughout the day. And then the red flag sort of killed the momentum of it for a little bit. David Land would probably disagree, but all around great race. This half of the season, I've been very impressed and I've been really happy, and Fox is screwed next year if the racing is anything short of good.
Yeah.
I think, I don't want to get on that topic, but I do think, because I've seen a lot of comments, I think Fox is still being treated a little bit unfairly. Fox's broadcast as opposed to NBC's. People, I made a tweet where I was saying that since Chicagoland, the racing this year has been outstanding. And everyone was like, oh, well, since NBC took over. And I'm like, NBC has nothing to do with it. NBC's been fine. I debated, they're arguably better than Fox Sports' broadcast. Fox just got, unfortunately, cursed with some terrible races at the beginning of the season. But anyway, sorry. I'll let you give your thoughts on that, Danny, on the race.
I mean, I think I've pretty much said all I can say. Like, this race is definitely puts us into an interesting situation going into Richmond because we have drivers who I thought would be not having a chance, all of a sudden looking like they might have a chance. People who I thought would go pretty far may not even make it past this round at this point. So it'd be interesting to see how this happens moving forward. I mean, if y'all don't have anything else to say about this race at Las Vegas, I'm more than welcome to start talking about Richmond. And actually, I have pulled up something here that I feel like might be fun for us to do here. I have the paint scheme previews that are on NASCAR.com, and maybe that's something that we can do for the fun of it, and I can present it, and we can talk about some of these games we got coming up too.
Maybe really quick, talk a little bit about, we talked a little earlier, but about Chastain's first win.
Oh, how could we not talk about that? Yeah, so
That's awesome.
And I'm glad that the Xfinity season ends at Vegas, because everyone felt like he got screwed out of Darlington, and now doing this now locked him into the playoffs, because he is full-time in the Xfinity Series, because he does run the Flex Seal car as well.
Yeah. Well, he was already locked in anyways on points. Michael Annett was not going to come swoop in and win a race. No, not him.
Can we just remember the fact that Michael Annett is in JR Motorsports equipment, and he didn't make the chase compared to a guy who overachieved in horrible equipment and then had one or two, two races in good equipment with Chastain?
Kamikaze Games and What If Racing love to defend him. They love to defend Michael Annett. Well, he did improve. Well, he finally got a top 10 with the crew chief change. Well, he is racing in Junior Motorsports equipment, so he should have gotten that first top 10 at Daytona. Something like that.
I'm just saying this. JRM does what they have to make sure their cars stay funded, because the Unilever Corporation sponsorship, which is like Swaffer Men, Breyer's Ice Cream, Hellman's Mayonnaise, that whole deal is basically stuck together because that they actually get someone like Chase Elliott and Dale Jr. to drive a car at least once a year.
Yeah.
Can we just? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Isn't Junior filling in for Xfinity car this weekend with Hellman's?
No, he's not filling in. He's in the fifth 88 car. Like I said, it's part of the deal. The whole reason they're going to support the other drivers is just to get Dale Jr. in one race. And it's just like something I've talked about in the past on some of my videos. In 2010, Dave was not going to sponsor that car unless they made Dale drive the 88 at Daytona instead of Kelly Byers.
Well, Kelly Byers was trash. He's so bad.
I mean,
can we just bring up the point that the stuff like the excuses for Annett is like the same thing, cut and paste, that were the excuses for Danica?
Yeah, kind of.
Seriously. Well, it's JRM equipment, but they got a new crew chief. Well, she got a top 10. No, it's more like, she got a top 20. But it's kind of the same thing. I know they probably wouldn't like me pointing that out.
The difference I can think of, and I don't know that much about Michael Annett, but I assume he's been stock cars his whole career. That's the big difference. I'll give Danica a pass because she was only a stock car driver starting in 2010, but Michael Annett I don't give a pass to. I don't understand.
I remember hearing about Michael Annett driving, what was it, the 15 car in 2009.
Yep. I think he's been around since the Busch cars looked like this.
Yeah, and Pilot has always been there.
Yeah.
Yep. Pilot and Flying J.
He even drove with Rusty Wallace Racing at one point.
Mm-hmm. And he did. And he wasted that opportunity away there, too.
Well, didn't it go bankrupt because Steve Wallace couldn't stop crashing?
I
mean, let's be honest here. That team was probably underfunded by the time he got there because of all the wreck damage they had to deal with.
Real quick, is there a trend? Is there a trend between 5 Hour Energy being with teams as they shut down?
Yeah. Every time a team has 5 hour energy, they just shut down.
Yeah, there's
Michael Waltrip,
Rusty Wallace Racing, Turner
Scott, and now Furniture Row. So
and then one time with the 77 car shut down that season.
Yeah. So I guess back to Chastain, it was really cool seeing him win in person. Here's my hope. I hope Ganassi lets him gives him more races during the playoffs, and I just hope he wins the title just as a big FU to NASCAR for having this whole playoff system. That would be hilarious. He's where is he in consistent points? 12th? and he's a title contender. He might win it if Ganassi gives him more races and stuff, man. This is ridiculous. It's funny though.
I would love if Chastain won, but I gotta say, Justin Allgaier's having the year of his career, and I really I hope that he does it. But I also want Elliott Sadler to do it. Like, I don't know, if it comes down between those three in the Final Four, I'll be very torn on who I want to win.
Interesting.
No, I don't know about Sadler.
In the 2 races that Chastain's been in, the 42, he's been significantly better than Allgaier.
Yeah.
So,
And he's been better than John Hunter Nemechek. But then again, Chastain's been racing in the Xfinity Series for a while. So if he wasn't, that would be a problem, which as John Hunter Nemechek is just starting out with that car. But I mean, he's already winning races. He won a second time out. Why not give him more races? I mean, you can get an Xfinity Series title from it too. You have a shot there.
If for some reason that Chastain went to Cup, like some rumors said, I don't think that's the case. But if that happened, yeah, I would love to see John Hunter Nemechek get more starts, maybe even run a whole season. But if that's not the case, if Chastain is actually given the 42 just for himself and not having Larson in it, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing the Ganassi 48 come back with, you know, people like Nemechek and Larson.
I never got used to that. I never got used to that car. I don't know, probably because like Johnson's been the 48. So like if I see like another 48 in like the Xfinity Series, like I don't know. I didn't like it. Like maybe use another number, but
I always kind of felt bad for John Hunter Nemechek, especially after Chicago, and then I forgot what other race it was. Bristol. Yeah,
Bristol got screwed over twice.
Yeah,
team.
I was there for that one, and then he just like slowed up, and I'm like, what happened?
His team, it's holding him back.
Awful.
His dad's team is just holding him back, man. So,
I mean, to do that good and Nemco equipment, there's talent there. There's got to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe now we can go to the Richmond paint schemes.
Yeah,
good ones
I feel like this might be something fun. We haven't really done much of this before, but just kind of give our, you know, we all love the pretty colors and stuff. So let's go look at some pretty colors here. Let me screen share, present on me, and y'all can click on my screen. We have 1 million of us right here right now, and there's hi, there I am. All right, here we go. Full screen here.
Well, I like that. Well, I mean, that's just the typical.
This is just the preview here. So let's start off with who we got first. We got McMurray is here.
The Twitter handles ruin it.
Yeah. Don't you guys just love the Twitter handles on the sides of the car?
No.
Hey, they did take away the box for this one, though.
Yeah, that honestly should do that for everyone. The problem I have with this, why the hell is the Twitter logo gigantic and the little hashtag? Literally, there's nothing there.
I can say this: that car will look really good running in 25th, 3 laps down. That'll look really good.
He'll run top 10 before they blow a tire.
Yeah.
Well, I think we ought to understand about NASCAR's Twitter logo on there. It's NASCAR. Do we really expect them to make smart decisions?
No.
Did Twitter pay them money? Like, I doubt it.
That's what. Yeah, I can't
I
imagine that.
I don't know.
Maybe they did. In which case, I guess I understand it.
Well, and I would think a better spot to have it would be like a spot where it's not going to just be so prevalent it takes your eyes away from everything else.
And I'm looking at this car. He could slide the Twitter logo over a good like 6 inches to the left and get it away from the center of the door, and that would look cool.
Which also for this car here, like, I've always hated when they redid the font of the one. It just looks so bland.
Yeah.
Well, Teresa would sue him.
Yeah, they can't use the one, but that always looked the best.
It wouldn't surprise me if Teresa Earnhardt sued herself without even realizing.
Yeah, she's suing everyone. So
she probably would sue her own daughter if she could.
On that note, what's Brad got going for 4 in a row? Draw tie. So they just got rid of this basic scheme here with a new Auto Trader car. And then what they do for this sponsor, go right back to it.
I'm going to probably be like that unpopular opinion guy, but I actually really like those schemes, even if they're just changing the same color. I don't know.
I just like creativity, you know?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
And is it just me or is his Twitter? No, his Twitter thing's still pretty big. It just, I don't notice it. Although they slid his over. His Twitter handle is much as slid over. See, that looks a lot better.
It might look different on the actual car.
Probably.
I hope not.
All right, what we got for Austin?
Whoa. What the
Oh,
heck?
it's that Twitter handle thing, man. I can't stand it.
Wait,
What is
what
going
is-
on with this car? Like,
Yeah.
is this like a honeycomb? What is this?
No,
thing?
I think it's like some like American ethanol like chemicals. Yes,
trash,
it's
just
bad.
like
Just
them.
move on. Just move on. It's
All
bad.
right. Oh, here is the redesigned Jimmy John's car, and it looks like we got the
Ooh, they put the line like it's not straight anymore. It's a little going up.
new 9-grain wheat sub, and it kind of like goes over the front area too in a weird curve.
Well, Darian, I know you're ripping on their creativity, but when you have to, when your closest competition now in NASCAR is Subway and the former employer of Jared Fogle, do you really think they're going to try?
No,
There you go.
I just remembered that.
Oh, I just now noticed like look at how weird the Mobile One
Yeah.
logo looks on that.
It's like they just stopped caring. It's like, let's just let's just put stuff wherever.
I want the chat to keep account of the contingency sponsors next to the little Twitter logos and see who has the most on their car. Because I know, like, I'm looking at this Bill Lester car, and there's literally like 20 on it. I want to see.
Oh yeah, all the old cars, like it has gone down significantly compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, like let's see. Yeah, I like have old small
Like,
junior cars here, and there's like
If I go grab my 2000 Dale Jr. car, I could easily lose count.
yeah. So keep count, chat.
All right, let's
Excellent.
move on. All right, well, we've seen this one a bunch. Just the
Wait,
performance
isn't that
plus
Kenseth racing?
Yeah, it's Kenseth this week.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
Eric,
that's
Eric, you
interesting.
can't answer. It's going to be skewed.
Huh?
What?
So, Eric, you can't answer this one. You're going to be biased.
I mean, it looks nice. I like yellow and black on Kenseth, but
When I see this sponsor though, I think of it more being with Trevor Bain. Not
I mean,
really
that's
with
basically
Kenseth.
Trevor Bain's car. Yeah, he's run a few
Hey, so,
times.
so speaking of Trevor Bain, I'm making a bus video on him, and it's going to be uploaded Friday. So since he's not racing, he might watch it. So hopefully he watches it.
Okay, so
That'd be awesome.
okay, with the whole news about like Newman probably going to the 6 and everything, I was telling my uncle about that, and he goes, "Good luck seeing him again." I'm like, "Well, Kenseth got a top 5." He goes, "Yeah, it's Matt Kenseth." You're comparing Matt Kenseth to Ryan Newman?
Newman's not that bad.
He's not Matt
Compared to
Kenseth.
There
Well, I
was
won't argue there.
there was a time in both of their career when I feel like Newman and Kenseth were equally as good, but later on, not so much.
Yeah.
That looks like a Ryan Newman
Back when
car.
he used to drive this thing.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that car.
Unfortunately, we can't see it because I'm presenting. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you can see it in the little bottom. I think the people at home can see
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
Maybe.
sure.
Maybe. All right, let's move on.
It's a typical Hooters one.
I don't like it.
He's only ran this one like once this year, I think.
Yeah, I
Daytona,
don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the
All right.
typical Hooters one.
All right, Hooters.
We used to have a waitress on it.
Ooh,
that looks good.
Here, I like this.
They put a
I
whole
like it.
3-course meal on the side of this car.
Yeah.
This is gonna make people hungry.
Bro, I told you I'm getting the pizza afterwards after this podcast, so this looks good. I like it.
We got a pork chop, ribs. I can't tell if this is in the back, but
But the Twitter handle thing is ruining it. It's ruining it again.
yeah. Like if this was a transparent PNG, we got rid of the white background, this would be fine. Like
Yeah.
just incorporate that logo into the wrap and it's fine.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll have this in the new Daytona Day commercial.
Probably.
Oh, gosh.
Probably have it show it like 10 times.
David Land, get on it.
Also, what is this going on here with like this black part on the back where it's like on the back and it also goes down a little bit.
He's already trying to trick the OSS system.
Yeah.
They had some leftover paint.
I don't know if that's just that might just be lazy people who do the wrapping and just like don't want to have to make it line up perfect.
Right.
All right, let's move on. FedEx office.
Wow. Wow, that's ugly. That Twitter handle thing, it's just so ugly.
Yeah, the Twitter handle.
Oh my God, the box truck on it too.
Yeah, no. If they took away like the whole, like all the white box, then it'd be fine. But since it's around that scheme and stuff, it's so obnoxious. It shouldn't even be there.
Purple schemes in general just look good in NASCAR.
Yeah.
And that thing ruined it. Like, that's a good paint scheme. That is a good paint scheme, and you ruined it.
Yep.
It's like if you had the Mona Lisa and someone took a piss in the center of it.
All right, we'll move on from the box truck.
We'll get it.
Can't go wrong with this one.
Why is Blaney's thing like that? It looks nothing like him. He doesn't have that mustache.
He said it was to promote some sort of t-shirt line.
He did have the mustache at one point.
Okay.
I heard him try to explain it, and he didn't really explain it, so I still don't understand.
I'm still mad they changed the numbers from red to white because they look better with red. Like I've got both the Blaney and the Menards 164 diecast, and they look great with the red.
The red with all the red trim looks so nice. Why would they change this?
We'll have to see which Blaney shows up this week, the consistent or the inconsistent one. No, you never know.
Like the Rex Grossman of NASCAR.
The fact that you even asked that means he's probably inconsistent.
Yeah. We'll see which one shows up.
Ugh.
What is going on here?
Cleveland Browns.
I gotta be honest. That reminds me of Tony Stewart's car. Like his whole scheme. It does. With the whole orange and
I didn't realize that Clint Boyer's thing was just a truck.
Yeah. And there it is, that whole white box again. That shouldn't be there, but yeah.
I do like that this looks like a relatively new sponsor, so at least that's cool.
Do you notice that the back of the car is the same as his teammate Almirola? So maybe that's
again, I think that's something that they just print off one big solid wrap piece, and they don't want to do it to the back all the way.
That could be. I would totally see that as a Tony Stewart thing. I don't care how it looks, just make sure it's fast.
Yep.
Nah, that car's gonna wreck again.
It probably will, but I like it until it wrecks. It looks nice.
Gosh, I started Stenhouse. I had Stenhouse on my fantasy team last week. I was like, now looking back, why? Because, I mean, he's okay at Vegas, but geez, he just friggin' destroyed the right front of that car. And
honestly, this is a sponsor. I'm surprised that Fastenal's even still in the sport because the first that I had seen them was 2008. They were on the 40 car for a little bit. And then 2009, they got with Junior Motorsports for a few races. And after that, I think then they went over to Roush, and they've been there ever since.
All right. I am surprised they've stuck with them, and they even signed an extension.
Yeah.
With Stenhouse?
Yeah, or at least with Roush. I don't know about Stenhouse specifically, but with Roush.
Well, and then 3M signed a 3-year deal for Biffles last year, so maybe Jack Roush is just really good at negotiating contracts.
Yeah, like, hey, I know this guy wrecks all the time, but I can give you a great deal. I'll give you a great deal on this.
I don't know. 2011 and 2012, Matt Kenseth ran half his schedule unsponsored. I don't think Roush knows what they're doing with sponsorship.
Yeah.
I know one thing. Sunny D seems to be with them for a little bit, and I do love the Sunny D car. It looks great. Okay, I just want to say this. I'm just glad to see the yellow M&M's car actually being used again. But for the longest time, you saw it one time at Daytona and then never again the rest of the year.
We saw it last week, didn't we?
Yeah, but that was like the first time since like Daytona.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, true.
I like his caramel M&M's car a lot, but yeah, this one's good and classic. So
yeah.
Hey, there's the bust. Right there. There's Bus Torres right there.
I feel like we haven't seen this sponsor since Carl Edwards drove it.
Yeah. I remember this car from Carl Edwards like 2015, 2016 race at LVMS.
Yeah, so I feel like they might have come back. I don't know.
I heard an interesting report, a couple of reports. One is that Levine Family Racing is open to possibly running 2 cars next year. And I also heard that Eris, although they have a deal with JGR, they might be willing to go with Suarez wherever he goes.
Wait, 2 cars?
Yeah, the 95
they can't even field one. How you going to run?
I think they're going to be. I think they're building a affiliation with Gibbs.
That's probably what it would lead to or come from.
Eris really could take their money wherever they want because we've seen situations like this before. We've seen Bass Pro Shop sponsor a Chevy and a Toyota at the same time. So
okay, yeah.
Well, and then, I mean, you also look, and it's not unprecedented, the team getting Gibbs backing adds in their team. I mean, look at Furniture Row with Eric Jones.
Right.
All right, well, let's move on. Ooh, the crash
Oh,
cars here.
yes, I like this. I told you he was sponsoring Eric Jones. I think so.
Yeah.
I think I said that, but some of you
Yeah, he
guys
said
are
it a
like,
few podcasts back.
yeah.
And then how Craftsman next year might be with Priest at JTG.
Yes, that's a good scheme right there.
The emoji doesn't even really bother me on this one as much. I mean, the white border is still annoying, but
I think it's because
It blends
the
in.
numbers work good.
it matches.
It matches, yeah. It matches though. I like that. And typical.
Well, I've never seen this one before, guys. Oh my goodness.
Never seen what his Twitter thing.
No, I'm just saying the 22 car that we've seen for literally
sorry.
20 years or something.
It's literally been this way since it was a Dodge and Kurt Busch drove it.
Yeah.
Did anyone else see that joke fly right over Darian's head?
Yeah. I mean, it
I
wasn't
thought
very
he was
good
talking
joke.
about the Twitter handle.
Oh,
I
go
actually
back
like
and
his Twitter handle with the steering wheel.
go
Very
find a
good
John
handle.
Deere and drive that, Darian.
I'm selling T-shirts. I'm selling T-shirts soon.
No Twitter handle.
Oh, thank goodness.
I think it could
That's a
be
misprint.
I think it could just be because this is a scheme that we've already seen a bunch of times and they just didn't really want to make a new one.
Hey, I'm getting my hopes up.
Again, here's like this random white line here.
Well, that's been on Hendrick cards for a long time.
Oh yeah, true.
Somebody's mic is undone.
Or headphones, you mean?
Same difference.
I think it's fixed now. But we got Corvette parts.net. Okay.
Deep burrito.
Ooh, Cheerios.
Oh, I didn't know they were back in NASCAR. That's cool.
I think it's more of a partnership with Kroger more than anything.
Probably. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But it's another one of these cars going to make you hungry. You're going to be seeing a big Cheerios right here.
Covered by the Twitter handle.
Oh yeah. More food being covered up.
You know that those sponsors, like, they probably designed those like schemes back in March or February. They're sitting there like, yes, we got it the perfect way we want it. And then NASCAR's like, hey guys, let's put this here.
Let's put this giant thing on the car.
Aesthetically pleasing, we are not.
Ooh.
Oh, this is
cool.
This looks like his car from like a few years ago.
This is the state. That's the name of the sponsor.
State water heaters.
It's on the hood, and then we got Haas on the side of it.
I remember when they used to sponsor Ward Burton when he drove for that 4 car in 07.
I realize that Haas's like logo is red outline, but it would be aesthetically pleasing if just for this scheme they changed their outline to orange just to make it look good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I would change with this.
Oh, and then the back is still like the other two.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
After we're done with this, we need to go back for a split second, look at Harvick, see if his matches.
Right.
Oh yeah, we didn't really see it. Okay. Just a Kroger car looks like. Same this one.
There's the GOAT.
They just didn't feel like sending in a new design like with the Twitter stuff for Jimmy's car here.
Hey Zach.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree with me that Jimmy Johnson is the greatest driver of all time? He's the greatest Cup Series driver of all time. He's the GOAT.
I definitely think there's an argument. I mean, I think there's
trying to bait
the
you.
level of competition. Every weekend, I feel like there's more guys who could win at today's day and age than there was with the other GOATs. But I don't know if I put him as the GOAT, but there's an argument for it.
That's
The
that
auto
was a
owner
good
was
answer.
insurance car.
What's interesting about this is they're not running a Twitter thing. This is for that ribbon's for some sort of cancer. I can't remember what it was.
It's what Sherry had, I think.
Ovarian cancer.
Ovarian cancer.
Mm-hmm. And it fits the car really well. And I like that NASCAR's letting them do that. I think that for maybe for different months, I think, for different cancer awareness months, they should have the ribbon that matches each of those months. At least.
When is breast cancer awareness month? I always love
October next month.
I always love seeing the ones who do like a pink paint scheme.
Or like the pink curbs at Martinsville.
Yeah. Just got the nationwide car for Bowman.
Those
no Twitter.
88s, those 88s going backwards just don't look right.
No, they did that for a reason. Like all of the
To
Hendrick,
match the Hendrick cars.
all of the Hendrick cars did that. Dale only had them going forward because of, I think it's like his dad always said you want your numbers to point forward. So
I just wish they'd change the font. Change it to like the normal Hendrick font.
It would just be too hard. Just do like Jimmy's 8s. It'd be weird saying that.
I don't know. I mean, with the 84 car, when Kyle Busch drove it, had basically Jimmy's number just backwards, and that didn't look too bad.
Yeah. FDNY Foundation.
That's Regan Smith still running it this weekend.
Yeah.
It looks like I had a car I'd create on NASCAR 2015.
It does.
I have to bring that up.
I wonder if let's see, what day is today? Today's the 19th.
19th.
New episode of The Walking Dead game comes out next week.
Ooh.
Clem will live.
I would say maybe this has something to do with it being so close to like 9/11, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So they're gonna show Xfinity. I figured they'd show Xfinity.
Are we gonna go through all those too?
We'll make
no, there's only a few. There's only a few Xfinity.
They don't do as many for these, but we got the Go Bowling car. We've seen this before on like Eric Amarola.
Childress Vineyards.
Here's
Ugly car.
Shane Lee. People don't really talk a lot about him, but he's one of the other guys driving the 3 car. So that's interesting.
He's decent. He's pretty decent. I like him. He's decent.
I hope he runs second this week.
Oh, Krasnokar again for police, I guess.
We're going the whole weekend, it looks like.
Yep. This is...
What? Number doesn't fit.
This makes me think of
the front.
Yeah, I wish I could see the front too, but this makes me think of a police car.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Well, the number
you've been in quite a few of those, huh?
Oh my gosh, that's ugly. That's just so ugly to me.
The number looks too small.
I don't know why it is so bad for like Gibbs cannot make a good looking ring paint scheme, but like when they sponsored Kevin Harvick and other people, they always made them look great.
Yeah, those were great. But this one,
well, I think Gibbs in general just has some really just duds come out. Like the 18 car that's interstate batteries, the stripes, that just that's a hot mess of nasty.
It's an acquired taste.
I mean, the FedEx car, yeah, it looks nice, but
FedEx car's good.
I always loved when they had the Dollar General car, and GameStop needs to get back on sponsor. They used to have some good looking paint schemes, and you just don't see enough GameStop no more.
Yeah.
At one point, I think they even backed out, but then they're back.
Yeah. Let's see. What other paint schemes we got? Typical South Point one.
DC Solar for
Ross Chastain.
Yeah.
He's back again.
Lovin Ross.
Oh, that car's gonna wreck again, like it has all season.
Ty Majeski driving.
Who was it that said that? Like someone had said over the weekend that the 60 car just wrecks every week, doesn't it?
It basically does.
I thought one of the drivers. No, one of the drivers I thought said it. Maybe it was Gregson.
No, it was some of the who raced the 60th last week. Was it
Chase Briscoe?
Yeah, so I think it was either Cindric or Majeski that I saw on Twitter. Like, there's 3 people that have driven this car this year, and like at least one of them I remember was on Twitter. Like, yeah, I know that feeling. Like after seeing the 60 wreck again.
Can we just talk about how bad and how exactly like the Jeff Gordon crash that was?
Oh yeah, that was a bad one.
It was exactly the same crash. I forgot who did the video. It might have been NASCAR fan 4888, but that crash was literally the same crash Jeff Gordon had 10 years ago, and they've done nothing to change that wall. Like,
well,
there's gotta
they
be something.
can't. They can't. That's where the ambulances are and stuff. That's where like
have it be at the end of the straightaway. Then have it be at the end of the straightaway and have them just like I don't know, man. That's just so dangerous. It's like somebody's gonna have to die before they actually change that.
I mean, they could at least put safer barriers there. Was there safer barriers there? Yeah, there was. I believe. Yeah, there was. Yeah,
there was a safer barrier. There was a safer barrier there back when Gordon basically broke his back.
No, there wasn't.
There might have. I don't know, but it's dangerous as hell.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR's going to really.
I just got to say, I like that segment right there. We haven't done that like once, and it was actually pretty fun.
We probably did it like a while back, a long time ago.
No, I don't think we have. But no, I mean they got to change it. Like if they don't change that, somebody's gonna get hurt or worse, and I don't think any of us want to see that.
All right, so should we get into our picks? Our picks this weekend. We can go over some more news about about this crazy silly season.
Yep.
During what? Huh?
No, after we make our picks, then we go over more news about this.
My bad. After I thought you said like during the predictions, like or the picks we could make.
Oh
no!
What?
Real quick, they didn't show him on that list. Dale Jr. is racing this weekend. You think he gets top 10, top 5, win? What do you think?
I'll be happy. Yeah, I'll be happy with the top 20. Honestly, like Junior's not the same driver he used to be, and now he's been out of the car for over almost a year. I think he's just going out there just so he can be the in-race reporter. Like that's basically
they just reskin the NBC sports car and have him go
pretty
out
much.
there and drive that.
Like if he gets a top 10, I'll be happy.
Yeah, as long as he finishes ahead of Michael and that, I'll be satisfied with that. But if he doesn't, then that's like, yeah, you know what? You're done. Like, don't ever race again.
No, I'd laugh my ass off if we all say this and he comes out and has like a 2016 Richmond and dominate.
I've got this 2016 car sitting over there. I'd gladly add a 2018 if he does it.
I would love for him to, if he goes out there and runs top 5, top 10 at all, I will be so thrilled. That would be so fun.
Watch the Xfinity race has more people in the stands than the Cup race.
It's going to. You know it
Guarantee
will.
it.
It'll be sold out, and then the Cup race, it's just going to be like, so everyone left over the weekend.
I've noticed, I haven't heard like NASCAR really hyping it up nearly as much as I thought they would. Like I think back to last year when he went to Daytona in July, how big the hype was for Junior's last race at Daytona. It was huge. It was front page of every article they wrote. And here he is. I know it's just an Xfinity race, doesn't really mean anything, but you'd think that they would push it a little harder. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of respect them for not overhyping it, because they have a history of overhyping everything recently. And I'll go and say this. I can respect that, but I'm also surprised.
Oh yeah,
I'm really surprised that they chose this race, the first race of the Xfinity playoffs, to do this deal. I really think that maybe another track would have been more ideal, like maybe the Bristol race or something like that.
Richmond's also, it's not a high-speed track. It could have been one Junior was like, I'll only do it, but if we do a short track or something like that, because I know he's probably wary of getting in any more accidents.
Well, I think it's kind of cool how this all lines up with his book coming out in another week or two.
Oh, that's right.
That's something. Who knows?
Wouldn't it be fun?
He won there. He won there in 2016, so it's kind of perfect, I guess, for him. So,
all right. Let's get into our picks. Who's going to suck?
Who's going to suck this weekend at Richmond? I'll start because I'm excited for this. I did some research ahead of time, and I got some bold statements. I want to start off by saying who's going to suck this week. Kyle Busch is going to suck this week at Richmond. He won here in the spring. He has a career average finish here of 7.15, and that's crazy given he's raced here like 25 times. But he is not. This leads into something I want to talk about. I'm gonna hit on it in and out of the groove tomorrow. But the big three is dead. The big three is dead and gone. They are no longer. They might still be the championship favorites, but they are no longer the big three. Brad Keselowski's caught them. Joey Logano's caught them. Kurt Busch has caught them. Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, they were caught them. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick have been a 5th to 8th place car each of the last 3 weeks. I think that's exactly what Kyle Busch is going to be again this week. I think he's going to finish 7th, 8th place. And by his typical standards, that is a suck race for him at one of his, probably maybe his best racetrack in recent years. So I think Kyle Busch is going to suck.
You're not wrong. Bristol hit the switch on everything. So
that's my bold prediction for the episode. I've been waiting like 45 minutes to say that. Sorry.
I'll go next. I'm going to take a little bit of a safer pick for who's going to suck, based on how he's done in the past at this track and how it's very hit or miss for him. But I'm going to go with the guy who just announced a new paint scheme for the last 2 weeks of the year, Jimmy Johnson. I think Jimmy Johnson will suck this weekend. I think he'll get back to his 2018 form, and we're all going to be upset about that.
That'll be sad.
I don't know. I feel like that team is still heading in the right direction. I don't really think that that'll happen for them.
Even when they were good, he wasn't that good at Richmond.
He finished 6th here earlier this year. That's one of his best finishes.
I know, but it's like usually he has one good race and one bad race, and that for him that's basically a win at the start of the year. So
he's won here at Richmond before, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he won once or twice. But yeah, I'm picking him to suck.
Ooh,
I am going to pick for mine Kurt Busch. I know he won Bristol, the last short track we was at, but I don't know. I just don't see Kurt having a good run here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the storehouse driver as well. I'm gonna go with Clint Boyer. I mean, he does kind of have a track record here for running decent, but other times though, yeah, the whole Richmond scandal, like the 2013 Richmond scandal, that whole Richmond curse that followed him for a long time, that he finally got rid of this year. So thankfully, thankfully he got rid of that curse. But yeah, Richmond, I feel like it's going to come back to haunt him again. So Clint Boyer is going to suck this week.
Yeah, I'd have to kind of go against the grain with my pick. Even though I love him, I'd say Denny Hamlin. My pick to suck this week. It's his home track. There's always a lot of hype for him being a sleeper pick or a good pick for Richmond, but I just don't think him or Gibbs have had the speed, especially recently. And I honestly don't. With his frustration, I don't see him picking it back up this week. And it's going to make my buddy, friend Prust, who's tuning in, make him pretty happy. He hates Denny Hamlin, and but yeah, I just don't see it turning around. And like you said, like part of the big three, Kyle Busch, I don't see the momentum keep going for those guys.
So, all right. So we move on to underdog picks for this week.
Yeah, underdog / dark horse.
I'd like to go first. I'd like to go first for this one. My underdog is someone who needs a good run this weekend to stay where they're currently at in the standings. He's had top 10s at Bristol this season. He got a top 5, I think, at Martinsville earlier in the year. He's my favorite. Alex Bowman would be a good underdog to get a good top 5, top 10 finish.
I almost picked Alex Bowman. So actually that is a really good pick, but I'm going with somebody else, somebody who's irrelevant in terms of the entire playoff picture. Matt Kenseth is coming off a race 2 weeks ago where he had a top 5 race car, which out of nowhere. And this last weekend, I know there was a lot of people involved in wrecks, but this last race here at, where did we just come from? Las Vegas, Trevor Bayne finished 13th, and he came back from a speeding penalty in the stage 1 where he was like 36th, the lap down, to run in the top 15 even before a lot of people had wrecks and stuff, and he finished 13th. So the 6 cars had 2 good races in a row. I think Matt Kenseth could be an outside top 5 threat this weekend. And I know it doesn't really mean anything in the playoff picture, so it's kind of a boring pick, but
I was actually I was about to say him. I was about to say Matt Kenseth. So yeah, Matt Kenseth. Yeah, that's my sleeper pick. And yeah, I mean, I saw Trevor Bayne. He was running decent, but yeah, Matt Kenseth after running.
I just got to point. Yeah. I just got to point this out. Someone said bias much, and yeah.
Oh yes, more bias.
Me and Eric picked our favorites.
Really quick. I was just all 4 of us were just tagged in this. The 4 hosts. So Jacob Lawson on Twitter tagged us and said, "Made this while I was watching the podcast. I got to say, it doesn't look that bad using Jimmy's 8s to make an 88." You see that or no?
That's definitely interesting, but I had to.
Interesting.
It looks like an Xfinity Series logo. I don't know why it just does.
So my dark horse pick. Darian's not going to be the biggest fan of this one for sure. So this guy, he let me pull up. He finished 10th here in the spring. Last year he finished 7th, and he finished 12th the first race. Now he has just over a 10th place average finish, more like about a 9.7, I think, 9.8. He's in 3 starts, has had 2 top 10s. Daniel Suarez is my underdog dark horse pick. I think he'll be in that top 10 range, maybe top 5. Darian, what are your thoughts?
That's not crazy. We've seen Carl Edwards in the 19 car have some good runs at Richmond before. We've seen him win.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, he was actually like, I was thinking it was a toss up between Kenseth, Suarez, or this was gonna sound crazy, Regan Smith, who's okay at Richmond in the past. He wasn't gonna like run top 10 or anything like that, but he would have had a decent run there. Yeah, I can see that. Zach?
Yeah, I'd have to. Not too much of a sleeper pick, but someone who's been struggling with it consistently lately. Matt Kenseth. Fuck.
Oh,
Eric, got me confused there. I mean, Ryan Blaney. Excuse me.
YouTube,
I
that didn't
think,
happen. Don't delete me.
Yeah. YouTube blame me to take away my Twitter or whatever. But Ryan, I think he's been on the shorter intermediate tracks. I think he's shown a lot of speed. I think Penske and the success they've had in the past 3 weeks, I don't think it's too much of a stretch. Hopefully some of that sheds on Ryan and his team. And I think he's in a situation where he salvaged his points last week compared to what happened to a lot of the other contenders. And I think he's in for a decent week. Maybe not quite the win, but I think could be a top 5 car.
It's a good pick.
I want to go first for the win picks because I think this will be funny.
Are we ready for that? So yeah.
I want to go first. So I like numbers a lot, and I think numbers, you can't argue with them that much. And I was looking at 26 starts, 5 wins, 16 top 5s, 19 top 10s, no DNFs, and a 7.1 average finish since 2005. I don't see how you can argue against Kyle Busch being the favorite to win this week. I can't see the argument against it. I can see that he possibly, he very possibly can not win, but I don't see how he cannot be the favorite going in. And I'm gonna stick with him. Breaks my heart as a Junior fan to do so, but
I can see why you would go with Kyle Busch.
The stats completely make sense. You're right.
I mean, there's only been 7 races since 2005. He has not finished in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's
crazy.
I'm going to be different than you, and I'm thinking back to the spring race, and I'm also thinking back to the last time we were on a short track. Someone who had probably, in my opinion, the best car overall in that race at Bristol, and he finished second here in the spring. I'm picking Chase Elliott for this weekend.
Good pick.
Kyle Busch.
In my handbook.
Kyle Busch is easy just because he does have great historical numbers here. The reason I didn't pick him is because his recent numbers, not at Richmond, but just in general, have been worse than they've been all year long. I think he's right now. I know the playoffs just started, but he's at like his valley for the season, which his valley is 7th place, so it's pretty impressive. Now, my pick to win this weekend, it's not going to be Brad Keselowski, but it is another Penske guy. Joey Logano, I think, is my pick to win this race. He has that win. It was Tallavega's his only win this season, which I kind of forget he even won. But if you look at his last 3 races at Richmond, he's finished first spring of 2016, third spring of 2017, third fall of 2017, and then earlier this year he was 4th. And Penske's on an upswing, Keselowski especially, but Logano's coming off a top 5, so I think Joey Logano.
Look at Logano's last few races in general. He's done really good, and he was up there a lot at Bristol too. So
yeah, I mean, I like Jared's pick, picking Kyle Busch, but I'm gonna go with the other Kyle Larson. When you come back at Vegas from during Vegas, you come back from the whole tire issue, you're a lap down, you come back from that, you end up finishing second. Like I said, the championship form right there. Now, unfortunately, he didn't start off there with a win, but from what I saw, he's pretty capable of getting a win very soon, just getting a win in this first round. So,
he's the defending winner.
Exactly. He's the defending winner as well.
I keep forgetting that he won that one.
Yeah, and he wasn't even like the most dominant car that night. They really adjusted that car well towards the end and stuff, and they were able to win that one. So Kyle Larson, first win of the season, and this will be sort of the official start of the championship run.
Didn't you say that last week?
Last week, I mean, he finished second though, so I guess this is like.
Yeah, he did finish second. I guess that's a fair point.
All right, Zach, who do you got?
I'd have to pick. I have to agree with you. I have to pick Chase Elliott. I think he's going to have a big rebound from last week, and their teams will be pretty fired up. And has a pretty stellar record at short tracks, and especially this year, he's been relatively strong. And I think he's going to have it tuned up, and he's my pick to win.
And Chase and Hendrick in general has always been known to at least get one of their cars going good in the playoffs, and he
especially
the last race at Richmond, he finished second too. So
yeah, and Chase is really the only hope to. Gotta hope Jimmy turns it around somehow, but really I think all the resources and times when we just spent on Chase's car. So partly that's part of my reasons too.
All right, so we got a good mix of winners there.
Yeah, wow. A lot of very different picks for the most part across the board. So that's fun. I think Richmond's fun because there's a lot of drivers that I feel like circle this on their calendar. I feel like Hamlin's, that's his home track. He's good. Kyle Busch has had a lot of success. But then you look at, Hendrick was good here in the spring, and Penske's on a roll right now. So I think it'll be a fun race. And it's Saturday night, too. So that's going to be a nice change.
Yeah.
2 night races.
All right. I know that was all of our NASCAR picks, but I got to ask Zach this. Who you got between Tennessee and Florida this weekend?
I feel like Florida kind of got the wind taken out of their sails of that last week at the Kentucky loss. So I think if there's a week for Tennessee to scoop one against a pretty decent opponent, I think it'd be this week. Although they who'd y'all play this previous weekend?
UTEP.
It was close. I remember it was close at it was relatively close at halftime. I was keeping up the scores, and I don't know.
We just didn't. The UTSU game, we scored a bunch, but the UTEP game, we didn't.
Yeah, and that's kind of UTEP is
we made a lot of mental errors. Like we fumbled it right there at the goal line. We had so many penalties that kept us from scoring. Like we should have been up maybe at least 14 more points that we didn't get.
Is it home or away?
It's home. That is our one advantage.
Yeah.
The last time we played Florida at home, we won. I was so fortunate to be on the front row for that game. And
that's awesome.
Never forget it.
That's awesome.
So really quick, we do have a little bit of news, and when I say a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. So for the first one, I think I'll just throw this out because it really won't take too long. A little stat line that I found. I didn't really find, someone else did. For the first time in 13 years, an Xfinity-only driver will win the most races in an Xfinity season.
Oh,
yeah, that's incredible.
Justin Allgaier with his 5 wins. That's good.
I mean,
if there is a guy that I would consider an overall just Mr. Xfinity, it would be Justin Allgaier. And you have to applaud someone to be willing to make their career in the lower series. Somebody like, Matt Crafton, he has become one of the most respected drivers by just sticking to a series that he feels he's competitively as the best he's going to be. Ron Hornaday did the same thing. Todd Bodine did the same thing.
Mike Skinner should have done that.
Yeah.
Elliott
Sadler, yeah.
He went his career.
He went down where he felt like he would be best.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the last time an Xfinity-only driver won the most races in a season? Wasn't that another car that Dale Jr. owned with Martin Truex?
Yeah, I believe so. Wait, the last time, that was 2005. Yeah,
that was a second straight championship. So
they had a dynasty, 2004 and 2005, basically. Like nobody was stopping them in that series.
And then another thing of news I found to be kind of interesting. So Kyle Busch, the basically owner of Richmond. Oh, there's a dog back there or something. The NBC Sports, the virtual owner of Richmond, offered to be in the booth for NBC Sports, and they denied him. They said no, just like flat out no.
It's interesting to me because Kyle Busch has never been in. We don't ever see Kyle Busch in the booth on TV, do we?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I don't think we ever have seen him.
And I guess it's because he's so polarizing. A lot of people don't like him, but a lot of people also do like him. And I said this before we went live. The fact that they let Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick on all the time, and those are probably 2 of the next most disliked drivers. I think that's interesting.
Maybe part of it is that it is Dale Jr. in the race. I mean, since there's probably going to be a majority Junior fans, maybe that's what they're thinking.
No, I don't buy that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Junior fans have too long of a memory. Damn.
That's the thing.
crazy.
I'm a Junior fan, and I know how we work. I mean, ask Jeff Gordon about every time he won Talladega. Ask Joey Logano about when he beat Dale Jr. at Talladega. Now get 1 million or so of them watching on TV. Oh, NBC Sports wouldn't hear the end of it if Kyle Busch was. And I think it's a stupid reason, but I think it might be.
Yeah.
No, Darian had the dog barking.
Oh.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I know people were in there like, who the hell has a dog barking? Jeez. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna try to ignore it, but yeah. So that was something I found interesting. And then Tony Stewart's charges were dropped.
Yeah.
Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Good. About time. Good.
About 4 years too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone on for a very long time, you know.
Yeah, basically, all those parents, they wanted money. They wanted to make a profit off their son's death, which is, I mean, basically his own fault. So I didn't really understand that, but I mean, they just wanted money apparently, but they're not going to get it. So,
speaking of charges, guess who pleaded what?
Non-guilty drunken Brian France.
Oh my God.
Must have been high on oxycodone because
Must have been a typo.
I'm telling you, man, that damn breathalyzer test, it's just out to get you sometimes. It just...
Sir, it was an accident. The pills just ran right into my mouth. I couldn't stop them.
watch him just say, "You know who I am."
Ignore the puffy face and the fact that I look, sound, and smell drunk. I'm not drunk. I drunk better when I drive.
I just thought of this. What if he tries to say that he has two alter egos, two alter personalities, and that was the drunken Brian France from Twitter? That isn't Brian France. Brian
like
France
the movie
is innocent.
Split. The movie Split.
Drunken Brian France is guilty. Brian France is innocent.
Yeah, the movie Split, he has like 23 different personalities. It's like he's been the bad one the whole time. He's been running NASCAR.
David Land in his video brought up a really good point. Is like, if he's able to get lawyers and get off, or just get off like a community service thing and then have that blow over, realistically, we could see him as CEO by the end of 2019.
Oh,
Better not.
gosh.
Hey,
That is a cuss word. We are gonna get the channel taken down.
No.
I'm just saying, like, obviously NASCAR's head, got cut off, but the rest of the body is still corrupt. Like, if they let that go on for so long, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, hey, Brian, that was kind of funny. You took a little vacation there." Like, he's not gonna get in trouble really for it. There's no real punishment, maybe, that he might get for it. And then this petulant man child is gonna be put back at CEO. Please don't. Please.
I don't think they will. I'm 100% confident NASCAR won't, because I think the difference here is, for years now, for the last decade and a half, Brian France has not been super well liked by a lot of old, like, longtime NASCAR fans, but that's kind of been kept pretty local into just the NASCAR community. Like, the national media does not know anything about that. But when Brian France does this, it's a crime, multiple cases, it seems, that hit national media, syndication. That was everywhere. Everyone saw at least a little bit of that. And I think that's a big enough stink that NASCAR is smart enough to know that would be a PR disaster if they brought him back at this point, especially anytime soon. And plus, you guys had mentioned to me, I don't want to step on your report because I didn't know anything about this until you guys told me, the Jay Fry, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Possibly being hired on from IndyCar, right? Into this some sort of management role. That makes me think that NASCAR is looking away from Brian France, that they're like, we're already looking towards somebody new. And I think that bodes well for their future.
Yeah, the rumor that I've seen and that David Land was talking about, that he's seen a lot too, was that so Jay Fry, for people that don't know, he used to run Red Bull Racing. He used to run Team Red Bull from 2007 to 2011. So he knows a bit about the sport. From there, he ended up going to IndyCar and helping them sort of turn it around. And now the IndyCar is starting to build itself back up. The rumor is that NASCAR is trying to reach out to him to possibly fill the CEO role, which, if so, I think could be nothing but positive for the sport if the CEO still has any power over the title sponsor. So what are your guys' thoughts on that one?
I mean, it's better. Anything better than Brian France? That's all I got to say. Just anything better than him. You know, I mean, I mean, you can tell that. Like, I don't know, just being at the racetrack, you can tell that the upper guys in the sport, they have their little clique. So, I mean, yeah, there's a possibility that Brian France could be allowed back in, but I think they're smarter than that, or at least I hope they are. So
I'm just saying, don't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian France was allowed to come clown, be a clown back in NASCAR and stuff, just to clown his way back in NASCAR and stuff and keep running it down. So, once again, like I said on N2SC4's podcast last night, I'm all for Ben Kennedy being the future CEO. If they announce that, yeah, Ben Kennedy is going to be the CEO tomorrow, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
At least then you'd have somebody who's been in that situation, who's been there, done that. So.
Right, and also, I mean, just he's kind of closer to our age and stuff too. Maybe he knows some things. Like maybe he can appeal, hopefully try and get the sport to appeal to more younger fans, something like that. So that's just a thought.
I agree with that. I mean, I think there's such a huge gap between like the C-class execs and the rest of the company, really, and especially with the fans. I mean, I think having Ben Kennedy, or really someone who would introduce a kind of a culture change in NASCAR and kind of bridge that gap between the C-class execs to really everyone else. And because reports say Brian would never go to the races, and you have all these other execs who would go be at the races and everything. And I just don't think his involvement with NASCAR was 100% there. And I think that it's because it's kind of handed to him, and I think someone who really wants. Who's 100% about that culture change and willing to make changes and actually listen to the fans would be really beneficial.
Jim France, I give him that. He was at the dirt race. He was talking. Him and Harvick were both talking in the other booth. So at least he's there. I mean, I think that's an end race. I think it's great.
That's important too, because I think it's also another reason I don't think Brian France will ever come back anytime soon is because since his deal. His arrest. Many drivers, not just a couple here and there, making a little sly comments about how he's not at the racetrack. Many drivers have come out publicly and said negative things about him, or at least not positive things about him. I just think at this point, the vibe around the company, around the sport, is that he's done for good. How old is Brian France? Is he at least in his 60s?
Oh, no.
Let me look.
He might be not in his 60s. I'm going to Google that because especially if he's in his 60s, then it's getting to the point where they need somebody who can physically. Okay, he's only 56. Right. That's a little younger than I would have thought. He looks older than that. Rich people typically try to make themselves look younger, not older. But all right.
No, he just tries to marry a younger woman.
He just. I don't know what he does.
He's a gold digger.
But no, I don't see him coming back. Even if he is only 56, he's not going to come back. I think. I just think there's too much bad press against him at the moment.
And he's already a billionaire. Do you really got to ruin the sport more?
He doesn't need to come back, but, it's a pride thing, I guess. I don't know.
See, Henry, I agree with that comment.
What do you say?
Said iceberg for CEO.
Real quick.
CEO.
Real quick. We've reached 2 hours here, and something that my fiance brought up with me that we just don't do enough anymore, guys. We don't really look at the chat like we used to. Let's take some time to just talk with the chat a little bit.
Can we cover the last 3 stories really quick before that?
How many more stories we got?
Just 3.
Oh, wow.
We'll be quick.
So, number 1, Nashville, the mayor, governor of this, I don't know what the hell, the person that's political there at Nashville, they've given SMI a deadline to whether or not NASCAR will be at the Nashville Superspeedway or Nashville Fairgrounds. I always forget what they call it. They change it every time they talk about it.
Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. That's what it is.
Day after my birthday. It'll be November 2nd. That is the deadline. We will know by then if NASCAR is coming back. If they don't make an announcement that day or before, we aren't getting Nashville. If they do before or that day, we are. So
I will be listening to the local sports radio people, and I will tell you all if I hear anything.
Because they're building an MLS stadium right nearby. So
same fairgrounds.
They need to plan in advance to see whether or not, what they need to do for parking, for concessions, for you name it, the 100 things they're going to have to do. Darian probably would know more about it now than all of us, but
either way, the soccer stadium is coming because right now all they do is they just play in a Titan stadium.
Yeah, and so, that's coming. That's going to be right near it. They need to know in advance. So we have a deadline. I still think it's good that we're getting this news and that it seems like the local government is taking it seriously. I'd be really upset if it's just like, oh yeah, those guys can come back, whatever. I guess I don't care, kind of thing. But it's like they're trying to get him back. They've given him a deadline, so I see that as nothing but positive. If there's a deadline, it means there's something in place right now, negotiation wise.
Nashville wants something NASCAR. They want either, they want Xfinity trucks. Shoot, they probably even take K&N even.
Yeah. Especially if you have someone like Haley Deegan running there, some up-and-coming star. What if she gets her first win, at Nashville, or it may obviously probably won't be next year. They're racing there, but still, I mean, what if an up-and-coming star makes their name at Nashville? So there's that. I pulled this up earlier. So BK Racing is shut down, but they released their earnings from April to June, and I was surprised how much they actually make. So I'll just read them off really quick if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Texas, they finished 20th. They made $136,000. Bristol, 31st, $87,000. Richmond, 35th, $78,000. Talladega, 24th, $109,000. 30th at Dover made almost $100,000. Kansas, 29th, $86,000. The Open, they $28,000. 600, 100,000. Pocono, 79,000. Michigan, that they finished 31st, 83,000. And the last one that was recorded on here, Sonoma, 30th, $86,000. So making a pretty good amount of money.
Was that this year?
That was looks like it's this year. Might have been last year. I don't know.
Consider that money goes to the expenses and about probably 50 to 75 employees maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if you compare it to years past, it's about the same, if not more than a lot of those, which, considering how much the sport has decreased in size since then, it's kind of impressive they're still getting that much money for a back marker.
It's consistent with the TV contracts, which we've been in the same deal for a few years now, because I don't know exactly how it works, but it basically works with TV. NASCAR makes all the money with the TV deals. They make deals with the tracks. The tracks get more money, get a lot of the money. Like the tracks themselves get to keep a lot of the money. That's why you hear a lot of people never really worry about attendance numbers. They're like, the ticket sales don't really matter. And we've talked about this. I think one of you guys mentioned you'd heard something about that, but I think it was you, Darren. Yeah.
It's just TV. I mean, TV.
It's just the TV money is funding everything.
Pretty much.
And as long as that's there for at least the next few years, I don't think the purse money is going to change that much. But yeah, that's interesting to hear.
And then one last story, Jimmy Johnson announced his throwbacks, and that video on Twitter gave me a few chills. It was pretty awesome. And then, was it the Phoenix race? He's doing his first Lowe's sponsor paint scheme.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're doing the 01 Power Pride and then the 02 car that he got his first one in.
Yeah,
Wish they would have spent the whole year with those throwback cars instead of the crap we got this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seeing the 2002 car on the Camaro, I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but it looks. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go look it up.
Yeah, it's tempting to hit that order button.
It's a good look. It's very nice. It does make me question why they ran the black and yellow all year, even though the black and yellow eventually grew on me. I just don't like seeing it run 15th instead of top 5.
I was not seeing it because he was never on TV.
It's fair.
I will say this diecast stand I have behind me, I've got the 164 version of this year's car. When I have this set on a blue light at nighttime, the neon on that car, it glows big time.
So I think that's it. If we're not talking about that, we can maybe give the chat a little love.
Let's talk to chat, because like my fiance was complaining, we just don't do that enough anymore. So,
Danny's fiance, we are ready to answer your question. Please post a comment. We will answer it right off the bat.
IndyCar better than NASCAR. That's a whole other discussion. We've had this discussion before.
Yeah, I remember him from the David Land stream.
Yeah.
What if Michael Waltrip was NASCAR CEO? Oh my gosh.
I'd leave.
Yeah.
I'd leave.
Someone literally just posted a comment.
By the way, everyone, Eric, the other Eric, he's just trolling with you guys. He's not really a Michael Waltrip fan. He wants you to think that. He's just trolling people. He keeps commenting. He keeps commenting on my videos for a Michael Waltrip good seasons from 2017. This was his season. He ran one race and finished 10th. So technically, he had the best average finish all season.
Yeah, he's asking me for a devil's advocate on why Michael Waltrip is the greatest ever.
Zach, someone asked who your favorite drivers are.
Favorite drivers? Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin.
Okay. I know you mentioned it at the beginning, but I'm sure some of these people would return to later one to know. But yeah.
Who do you think will win the Roval? Tune in next week.
Oh, yeah. It's a crapshoot. Nothing to go off of that one.
Well, I think we can at least ask Zach who he thinks will win it, just since, he's our guest. So.
So I think just from the testing they did earlier this year, I mean, with so many people wrecking and the first race with 40 cars on the track, I think it's really tough to say. So just with that, you got to kind of pick a veteran, experienced guy, and I really don't see with how dominant Kyle Busch is at Charlotte, and I know it's a completely different animal with the Roval, but I got to say Kyle Busch, his experience and his skill, I mean, I think he'll be able to tackle it.
Flying Gator says to tell Zach that Duke is going to win the Natty. How do you feel about that?
I sure hope so. We got the team for it this year, so watch out for us.
A little ACC dark horse there.
No, seriously.
Rail fan Mike says how to make the throwback weekend better. I don't know. Maybe if my voice doesn't crack bad.
Smokey Bear says that Titans guy's the funniest. Thank you. Dude in red is a loser. Sorry, Iceberg. Guy with the custom hood is all right. So, that's I guess. No, I think that would be Zach. He's got the Bobby Labonte hood in the background.
Oh, the hood. Oh, I think that hood.
Maybe he's colorblind. Let's see. Will Chase Elliott advance to the round of 12? Probably.
If Zach's pick is right, then yes.
Do you guys think The Rock will come back? I'm thinking
The Rock is coming back to SmackDown this week. No, sorry, I'm just
something else.
I haven't kept up with that enough, but I'd like to see it come back, but I'm skeptical. At least not anytime too soon. It'll be 4 or 5 years at a minimum.
Orca Flop says, Eric, what are your thoughts on Rutledge Wood?
I don't know.
He just dare.
I mean, he's annoying, but he's also, I'm not gonna lie, he's not terrible. He's NBC's Michael Waltrip, but without a driving career to back him up. So, but he does wear those nice plaid shirts all the time, even when it's 100 degrees. So
I know. I saw him at Chicagoland in that, and I was like, "How are you not dying?" Like I just in my head, I'm like, "How are you still alive right now?"
See, that's the question right there: is who's better, Mikey or Rutledge? And I don't know.
Classic question right here. Can you drink water in a second?
That video was recommended to me on YouTube today for the first time since we joked about it months ago. And I watched it. That's still funny.
Don't we have what street? Was it? Texas?
That was the one where we let everybody on.
It's okay. It was before Texas. Yeah. Yeah, I remember because Irishman, I think it was, tried doing it and it went like all over his face.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then
a little context.
Eric was going to try it, but I was like, no, don't ruin your microphone or something.
It didn't go very well.
A little context, Zach, if you don't know, we saw this video where a dude drank a water bottle in 1 second, and we had this stream where we let all the fans on, and I had the bright idea of putting the link in the chat and thinking, because back then we didn't have as many people watching. I'm like, maybe a few people. And literally right as I said, watch no one come on.
Gosh.
Nice one.
Say it again. I didn't hear that part.
I said, watch no one comes on. And as soon as I said that, 6 people jumped right on. We literally I think Carnation has a clip of it on his channel.
Spent the whole time kicking him off or what?
We basically, it's like Danny's like, because it was on Danny's channel.
I deleted the comment with the link really fast, and then I was like, okay, you've got to go. I'm sorry. Like, there was.
This wasn't supposed to happen.
I told people, I was like, make sure it's quiet. There's no background noise. Sure enough, there was background noise. There was somebody running across someone's bed at one point.
You're scared about getting kicked off YouTube. That'll get you kicked off real quick.
Orca Flop asks, Iceberg, what's your favorite car of all time? It's got to be the Dale Jr. Batman car. Even if it does look like a giant seagull took a crap on the front of it.
The Buck Nutify, Danny, how's your egg salad?
I never had egg salad.
He said that. He asked that before.
He's left at $1.99 for like six or seven super chats.
I appreciate the $1.99. I'll use it to buy some egg salad for you.
Well, this is the thing. It's like the 6th time he's asked with a super chat about your egg salad, and every time we're talking about something.
Does he know? Does he know he pays for those or what?
I mean, after YouTube takes their share and what I get out of that, yeah, I can probably just buy some egg salad with that. That's it. So
I have a theory that a lot of these people are just like kids that steal their mom's credit card.
Like that guy, that one kid who gave IDK like $100 or something like that.
Right.
Oh, I'm just imagining there's like some mom somewhere. She's like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see where he's at right now. But speaking of IDK, because I need to help pay him back. IDK shouted me out on a stream and got me up to 1,000. I want to see where he's at right now because I know he was closing in.
He's close.
He is 15 away from 5,000. Come on, guys. There's got to be 15 of you guys.
Go to IDK Players. Go subscribe to IDK Player right now.
Yeah, you see, he did the super chat again.
This guy's on a one-track mind.
You should eat more of it.
Yeah, how about this? Because I have his number. If we get IDK up to 5,000 by the end of the stream, I will call him and see if he's on.
All right, let's see where he's at.
If he gets to 5,000, then I will buy some egg salad. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, hold on. He's at 987 now. That's
how much,
IDK Player, guys.
How much does he have to pay for you to eat egg salad?
Okay, if he pays 20, then I'll have some egg salad the next time I'm on the podcast.
All right. Oh my gosh, he's 10 away.
He is?
He's at the 20. He's at the 10.
He's got nothing but daylight.
Guys, IDK Player just needs 10 more subscribers. Oh, someone just unsubbed, so he's at 11.
Hey, Isaac Innocent sent $5. Thank you. Just so you know, my wife says that I spend more time listening to you guys more than I listen to them.
Good job, Isaac. You're living it well.
You know what's sad, I'm so sorry, but my fiance would probably say that I talk to these guys more than I talk to her. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Come on, guys. 8 away. Carnation, clip this.
We're so dreamy.
9 away. God. That one jerk that just goes back and forth.
7.
It's also 6.
6. Guys, 6 more subscribers away from 5,000. Come on. Let's make this happen.
Subscribe to him?
I know he was in chat earlier, but I haven't seen him in a while. So, this would be awesome. 5 away.
5. Oh my gosh. Come on. 4. Wait, 2.
3.
You guys just refreshing?
I'm literally just refreshing it.
I just keep refreshing.
1.
Yeah.
They said everyone unsubscribed.
Hey, he did it!
Eat a spoon. The Buck and Notify said eat a spoonful of mayo.
Who is this guy?
What?
I'm laughing that he's just having his own conversation. And he's been going for 2 hours.
How much would he have to pay you to eat a spoonful of mayo?
Okay, if he does another 5, I will eat a spoonful of mayo.
5K. Dude, call him right now.
I'm looking. Do I have his number?
$5 for a spoonful of mayo.
I know for a fact he has mine, so I swear I have his number somewhere in here.
Wait, what's his first name again? I forgot. How do you say it again?
Something J.
Yeah, J something. Yeah, I always forget.
I thought I put him in as IDK, but I don't know where it went.
Yeah, if that guy does like one $5 super chat, then I will go do a spoonful of mayo.
All right, you got it? All right, call him.
Yeah.
Congratulations, 5,000.
Isn't it like 10:30 where he lives?
Yeah.
Hey, look at your subs.
Yeah, I know. Everyone just blew me up on Twitter, bro. Thank you guys a lot, man.
Dude,
please eat
I went to go
salad
to
too.
I just went onto your live stream and I said they had to have done something.
Yeah, I was like,
Awesome.
I gotta pay him back so bad for the 1,000. So I'm like, how close is he? I'm like, we looked, it's
15.
like 15. Oh, okay, let's do it.
And also I went to go check my sub count. I was going fast. I'm like, oh my god.
So we just wanted to let you know, man. Can you hear them?
Hello.
No, I can't hear what they're saying.
Someone speak.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
I know everyone calls me IDK. So.
Yeah, no, I was like looking and I'm like, I thought I put him in as IDK.
Hey, by the
All of a sudden, like my Twitter was just going off, and then I was like, oh no, they must be doing something on the live stream. So.
By the way, we've got a Duke
You guys are
football
awesome,
player.
bro.
By the way, we've got a Duke football player here who helped you do this too.
I hear Danny talking.
Can you hear me?
Say it again.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can't hear. Yeah, I can hear him. Go.
Okay. We've got a Duke football player here who helped you do this too.
I heard something about a football player because I was watching the stream earlier.
Just tell him for me.
We have a Duke football player here who helped you. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I got to turn up the volume more on this thing.
Tell him I said thank you. Matter of fact, I'm going to say in the chat, like, in a second. Hold on, make my computer. Can you guys tell him I said thank you?
He hears you.
Yeah, he was ready.
Danny, someone sent you 5.
What?
And,
Oh.
Okay, you got to watch the
Okay.
stream, man. There's
Okay.
literally somebody who's sending stuff.
I was like, this is the egg
Okay.
salad.
Okay. I'll be
This
back.
dude has sent like $20 for egg salad. Help this guy
Yeah.
out. He
They're
yourself.
doing the super
I'm gonna
chat
go
thing right now.
do a spoonful of mayo, but I'm also gonna have a Pepsi with me just so I can
Somebody
drink
gives
something.
him
You got to do an egg or something.
$20.
This guy wants some egg salad.
If someone gives him
I don't
$20,
have any
he's
eggs. I
gonna
don't have any eggs.
eat egg salad or something, and
I
then
don't-
$5 now just got donated so he can eat a spoonful of mayo.
All right, I'm gonna do the spoonful of mayo.
This is
but-
out of control. This is went from the.
I'm going to, like, salt. Or, like, a huge salt jar.
Well,
5 or 30.
we're gonna wrap the show up in the next half hour or so. So I'll let you go, but dude, turn it on for a little bit, man. But
Yeah,
congrats,
Yeah, congrats, bro. You deserve it.
Thanks, bro. I'll see you later.
later, man.
I like
Yeah,
waving at people on the phone because I know they can't see me wave, but I like doing that.
Yeah, so Zach, IDK player, he's from Miami, so he's a big Hurricanes fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Aren't you guys in the same division?
Yeah, we're in the coastal division. Yeah, that's gonna. They've bested us past few years, but we got the team for them this year. But yeah, it always gets chippy with Miami.
Oh, wait, so you were there for that whole that one Miami game, huh?
Don't bring it up. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I don't say it. I was like,
Danny,
okay.
Danny, he says no Pepsi. He says the Pepsi's
Yeah.
not allowed.
There
Said
will
no
be
Pepsi
there
for
will be-
$2.
there will
$2,
be-
no Pepsi.
Just
If what? It's for what incarnation? He's a big Pepsi fan.
The Buck,
Yeah.
I think the Buck Nutify has said honestly $25 probably at this point.
Okay, fine. I will try to go 3 minutes without the Pepsi.
yeah.
3
All
minutes.
right. So here we
You
go.
can make it 3 minutes. You don't need any of it.
Here we are. I'm gonna look away and just look at the hangout here. We
It
got
looks
the
like shampoo.
yep. This is Hellman's mayonnaise, the official mayonnaise of Dale Jr.
This went from the NASCAR podcast to like another BS stream towards the end.
This is very wholesome, family friendly.
I just realized I have bread and bananas. Should I do the spoonful of mayonnaise or should I make the sandwich that Dale Jr. loves?
I don't know. Maybe another donation. Wink, wink.
Yeah, maybe another donation and then you can do that. I don't know how the hell Junior eats that.
I know. I
I'm
tried
trying
it.
that.
Okay,
I gagged.
if there's another donation, then I will, instead of doing a spoonful of mayonnaise, I will do the Dale Jr. sandwich.
Eric Keplinger says, "Send $50 more, and Danny will eat shampoo."
No freaking Pepsi at all.
How much money has he got? This dude got.
Who?
Hey, to be honest, Jared
Okay,
Edmonds is right.
okay.
He did pay.
Okay,
Come on.
I'll do it.
Pepsi at all.
I'll do a spoonful of mayonnaise. Here we go. But if I get another donation,
Oh my
then I
God! This
will
guy
do the
does not
sandwich.
like Pepsi. Holy crap!
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Drink that Coke instead.
We're loading this bad boy up here.
Yeah, he's definitely on Team Coke.
Oh
Put it up to
god.
the camera when you got it full up.
Oh, that's a weak one. That's a weak one.
Good enough to me, right?
I mean, it fills the spoon.
More than that, okay.
Tiny bit more.
We gotta give the people what they want.
Oh man.
I'm just looking, and it's like the stuff we'll do for super chat. We're basically like low end internet prostitutes.
We're cam girls.
It's gonna be so nasty, and I might have to run away.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Just pretend it's vanilla ice cream.
Wait, focus it on you, Danny. Just focus it on you.
Okay.
He's gonna have like the Family Guy barf happen.
Let me focus it. I might want to take the headphones off in case I need to run away.
Oh God, it's Mayo, not be a man and chug it. Look at what Uncle Tom Cruise put.
Oh God.
Oh, I want the mayo on your face too. That was like $30, guys.
What is happening? Once you get it down, it's not so bad.
He says, I want the mayo on your face too.
That's enough.
What are we doing?
And
He said,
I'm waiting for him to be like, spray the mayo on your face, mouth open.
Yo, Zach, this isn't a typical NASCAR. This is like something else. I don't know what this is.
This is the after hours that you have to pay for.
This is like what we used to do. Like this is honest to God an actual throwback stream where we're doing the same amount of time we're on, the same dumb antics. I just haven't cussed. That's it.
I was the only one that cussed. My bad.
It's like for this guy here. Is this what you want?
Oh, he's gonna do it. Oh, is that what you want? You're a tease, Danny B.
No, I think the worst part was when I about had it all done and I just like swallowed it all at one time. That sounded wrong, but oh well.
Danny swallows.
This entire
Danny B mayonnaise.
Oh my God.
You know,
Dude, that was
In
awesome.
honor of you competitive mayo eating. Yeah.
in honor of you eating that mayo, I have a feeling Dale Jr. is going to win this weekend.
Gone sexual.
Like I said, we got kids in Africa dying, and we're spending money for Danny to eat mayo.
Are you kidding me? Danny, are you kidding me? That spoonful of mayo probably would have fed Ethiopia for like a decade.
Oh.
How much
gotta
money?
Streamed out.
This guy spent like $30. I cannot believe this.
Bro, Danny's making a fortune on this. He ain't even like doing nothing.
We need to have a viewer discretion advised marker at the beginning of this next time.
Yeah,
I think our streams are behind a paywall from now on.
Lucky Louie, clip it.
Here you go, Buck. This is what the Buck Notifies paid for. $30 worth of mayo on the face.
Here you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh,
Come on, Bob Ross.
Hey, someone pay Danny B $100 and he'll ask Haley Deegan for a tramp stamp. So someone pay him $100. Go ask her.
Don't even tempt that one dude. Butterfly guy is good. He'll drop his whole mortgage on you.
I swear, if he pays $100 for that, then Danny B has to do it. He's got to be that weirdo. That one weirdo.
You know what we should do?
Should I wipe this off my face or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's honestly kind of disturbing.
You know,
if he pays any more, then we'll put more on. But
you know what we should do? We should do as like a little Easter egg to everyone who's watched this stream and commemorate it. We should have one of us each week somewhere in the background has a thing of mayo in the background, and like the viewers have to find it.
Freaking! I can't. Oh my gosh!
Let's end it right now.
I think this is a good time to end it. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for the super chat. It definitely supports Danny B Talks. I appreciate it so much. I hope that I have prostituted myself out enough for tonight for your guys' entertainment.
Got wild, but
Oh my God! That I just wasn't expecting that. Rub mayo on face and call me Daddy.
Jared Edwards.
Oh, I remember. I think it was in one of our one of our group chats, was it Carnation or Seed? Someone was asking, "Where's Jared Edwards went? I haven't seen him in a while." Well, he came back with a friggin' vengeance.
Bro,
All right. No, let's just do intros.
Now.
Let's do
Let's all
intros.
say goodbye while we can.
Well, hey everyone! Thanks for watching the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. This has been wild. I mean, it's what you're still watching, in case you didn't know what the title was. I'm Eric. You can find me on my channel, Eric Estep. I do NASCAR commentary videos. I talk about the sport every day, basically what we do here, but in an edited and less sexualized fashion, usually. But anyway, yeah, that's me. So I'll let you guys close this thing out because I'm gonna die over here.
I'm the Iceberg. I don't usually laugh this much. Yeah, for any drivers who might be watching us, we swear this is how we usually are.
We once had Bobby Allison on this exact same stream, and look what we've turned this into. Well, look what you in the chat have turned this into.
I think I might have brought all the egg salad, the mayo, the online prostitution with me. I apologize.
No. It wasn't. It wasn't. Don't put so much blame on yourself.
This was one of the best podcasts we've ever had.
Like I said, this is the after hours that you pay extra for, and that's exactly what happened here.
Hey, Blue Jimmy fan said something really quick though.
Nice.
I'll read it, Danny.
Oh yeah, let me see. Oh, $5. I appreciate that. Love the stream, guys. You always make me smile and laugh every single week. Hoping to help out with the Pro Series in the future. Definitely in future years. I don't know where we're sitting at right now entirely, but I do appreciate the love and support.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, full up on drivers. Just need sponsors for races, which I still got to send Caleb that $12. But yeah, on the Iceberg, I'm gonna be releasing a video tomorrow. Missing Rings, Jimmy Johnson, 2005. And then from there, it's going to be every other week. I just wanted to do it this week just so I could start every other week. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Jared Edwards is a legend.
Full stone cold and smash a beer can on your head. Pepsi. Okay, that's good enough.
Yeah, let's. But yeah, that's all I got to say. So.
All right, so
This is Natalie Decker.
Well, Natalie, we should have known all along.
She is odd.
You silly person.
Bro, y'all's fans are hilarious.
It's like this. Yeah, no, we're so lucky to have these fans, man. It's awesome.
Now they're saying bring Zach back.
Hashtag bring Zach back. Yeah, keep that hashtag going, y'all.
Definitely invite him back because he brings good comedy to this, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this NASCAR/random weekly podcast tonight. Anyways, go subscribe to my channel, Black Flags Matter. New upload on Friday, Trevor Bayne bus video. A lot of people have been asking about that Danica one, and all I can say is it'll be out before the year is over. That's all I'm going to say. So everyone go subscribe to everyone's channels and go follow Zach on Twitter as well. And yeah, so that'll do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.
Who's going next?
Danny, are you ready to?
Well, does Zach do his?
Zach's got to do his outro.
Let Zach, yeah.
Oh, all right, guys. Zach Harmon, really appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast. I've been reading the chat throughout the night, and I really appreciate all the good comments. And we play North Carolina Central this Saturday. The week following that, we play Virginia Tech, 7 p.m. I think ESPN2. It's gonna be a big game, a top 25 matchup. Hopefully, hope you guys tune in for that and show some support. I'd love to be back on and chat and interact with y'all. It's been a blast. So appreciative of you guys having me on. It's been so fun. Thanks.
Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, it's been a good time, man.
All right. Well, I have been Danny B, eater of mayonnaise. This has been one of the more unique podcasts. It was not supposed to be on my channel originally, but I'm glad it ended up being on here. I appreciate everyone who gave super chats. Greatly supported. It goes to help out DannyBTalks. No doubt about it. Appreciate all
And
of my. Oh yeah, yeah, and I can buy more Helmut's mayonnaise so I can, rub it on my face like this.
Oh, and also, hold on, I gotta go really quick, guys. My pizza's here, so I'll be back.
He said he was gonna get a pizza.
He ordered a pizza during the stream? Good God, what a freaking madman.
Oh, my God.
On that note, Pizza Boy is gone to go get his pizza. This has been a great stream. I appreciate everyone who decided to watch it. I appreciate the panelists, the guests we had on tonight. I hope everyone had fun. I know I sure did. So y'all have a good night. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.